everyone. Welcome back to the Keep Watching podcast, where we decide what to watch so you don't have to. I'm Sarah.
And I'm James.
And today we're going to be talking about Transit Love 3, episodes 18 and 19. James, we are so close to the end, and I think we're not angry yet. How you feeling?
Good. Yeah, we are so close. I am ready for this to be done. I feel like these two episodes, I was trying to remember with like the whole when were you allowed to date your exes last season? And I was looking forward to it, but it's like weird that it's literally just the last day that they were allowed to do it.
Yeah. It's not like you're allowed to, it's you must. There's one date that has
That's
to
true.
be on your
Yeah,
ex.
like you have
the
to,
more
yeah.
interesting thing of like getting to choose your ex or not, they do not allow.
Yeah, so there was never a point in this season where it was like you can choose your ex if you want to, but you don't have to, right? But that it did happen last season with the trip to Jeju. You were allowed to pick your ex.
Ah, that's right. Yeah.
So and that was like kind of like a date, I guess. And then I was trying to remember, like the other big thing was that when they did the X room, it was like if you go to the X room, then you get to talk to your ex afterwards.
Right.
So those were the extra 2 interactions that the exes were allowed to have prior to this final day. I guess maybe they weren't. Like, were they allowed to date on Jeju prior to the last day, or?
Yeah, they couldn't pick their ex, though. I mean, there is always theoretically unofficial dates with your ex could happen. Maybe?
I don't think we've ever seen that.
We've never seen it.
I think that might not be allowed. So, like, I feel like if you ever see, especially back in Seoul, like, if anybody ever goes on, like, an unofficial date, you're just like, oh, yeah, they can't be exes.
Yeah, probably.
I feel like that might be a thing.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah, I guess maybe they weren't allowed to date. Like, so this season, like, they're literally not allowed to. They don't go on a date with their ex until after the truth game.
Yes.
Which is like with 1 day left, 1 full day before the decision is when they're going on a date. And I guess it was like the same last season, except they just had those extra 2 spots where you could talk with your ex.
I think that's right.
So this season, I mean, like we talked about how like this show, or at least when we watched season 2, it felt like, oh, this show like really doesn't want you to get over your ex, and in some cases, like it almost makes it seem like they're getting you to pick your ex in the end a little bit. But this season, like that's not the case at all, right? It's like they didn't give them time. Like they still did the X rooms and stuff. So they're making you feel things about your ex, so you don't get over them, or you're still thinking about them all the time. But I think they actually gave way more opportunities for non-ex people to match up this season.
Yeah, I think they're less interested in exes getting together and just more of the tension of people deciding between their ex or somebody new, which is more of what I thought it was going to be last season we watched it, you know?
Yeah. And I don't know, after watching these 2 episodes, I mean, these ex dates weren't that spicy. I'll be honest. Like,
that's true.
I mean, I guess they knew what they were doing, because like if this had happened earlier, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of ready for the final decisions, because it feels like
I
feel like the show is making it as clear as they're going to let us know, about everybody's decision. A few people like we know for sure, and everybody else, it's like this is as close as the show is going to allow us to know before the decision. So
20 episodes does feel a bit excessive. I think they could have trimmed this down.
Yeah, I don't know what the participants themselves in terms of what time they need, but in terms of watching it after the truth game and maybe the X dates, I was just like, all right, let's get to the final decisions. But they still did a whole nother round of dates after that. So it's still some interesting stuff to talk about, though, for sure.
Yeah.
Sarah, word on the street is you're under the weather today. Is that true?
Oh yeah, that is true. If you can't already tell, I apologize in advance for any coughing, sniffling, gross sounds on my end. I've had a heck of a week. Work's been garbage. I dropped one of my makeup brushes in the toilet, and then Panera has retired my favorite sandwich. Not that I ate there often, but it was a good sandwich, and now I'm sick. So, I'm glad that these episodes didn't make me angry. It gives me something nice to talk about.
Okay, good. All right. Yeah, these 2 episodes, a lot of content, pushing close to 5 hours. No, close to 6 hours, I think, with this content.
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll see how fast we can get through this. Good comments again this week. I don't have anything specific to bring up. Do you have one?
Did you know that anybody can write comments on Spotify. And I don't mean reviews, I mean on individual episodes. There's a
Oh,
generic question that is like, what did you think of this episode? And
nice.
we got a
Okay.
comment from Ayani on Spotify saying, please check out His Man 2 or My Sibling Romance for your next show. Both have really cool premises. We've heard of My
Oh,
Sibling Romance. I had not heard of His Man 2, had to look it up. Here is the description. 8 attractive guys cohabitate for 8 days, leading to exciting chemistry and unexpected connections. That's right, this is a Korean queer dating show. I didn't know those existed.
really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So even if we don't talk about it on the show, I am watching this.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, let us know. I'll check it out. I don't care. Another My Sibling Romance recommendation.
Yeah, we've gotten a few of
Interesting.
those. So,
Okay.
you know.
All right. The thing I was when I read the comments from people this week, there was some talk about Singles Inferno 3,
Yeah.
and I was thinking Transit Love 3 is better than Singles Inferno 3, right? Am I crazy? Am I
Ooh.
correct? I think it is.
Yeah,
I
there's
think
no.
Singles Inferno
I
3 was
don't.
that bad. It was that bad.
Yeah,
That's
I
what I
don't
think.
hate anybody the way I hated Guan Hee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's
God damn.
actual story, like even though there's some people I have no interest in, I'm 2xing through their content.
Uh-huh.
There are actual stories that I care about and I'm invested in. And I don't
That's
think that
true.
was the case in Singles Inferno 3, even for
Yeah.
the side stuff. I might have
Yeah,
I
that
might
is
have
a
tried to
bummer that is
act like it,
true.
but yeah. Yeah. So Singles Inferno, you gotta step up your shit. That even Transit Love beating you now? Come on. That's weak.
Yeah.
That's weak.
I mean, I got to say, we're still probably going to talk about the next one because that's where a lot of our views come from.
Oh, let's
But
still watch it.
yeah,
Yeah. But get ready. We're not holding back. We give you
that's true.
one season to be terrible. Singles Inferno.
Yep.
And
They better get their
another
shit
one,
together.
we're not holding back next time.
I mean, we did say that their island looked like a literal dick, so I don't know that we held back that much.
I mean, that was just the truth.
That's true.
Okay. All right. Are we ready to watch?
Yeah, let's get
Okay,
into
we're ready to
it.
talk about this. All right, where did we leave off last time? Where were we at?
Okay, last time there was like a cookout or whatever, and then they got to pick for a mutual date.
Yeah, they had to match, but only 2 dates happened out of the matching, which
Yes.
is nuts.
And then there was a bunch of random drama with a bunch of people because everybody was like angsty. Like Dongjin did a dumb job texting,
Oh yeah,
and
that's
then
gonna be no
like
big deal. We kind of talked through that last
yeah,
episode, and I was like, okay, never mind. I get it, and I see that it's gonna be okay. And that's
yeah.
about what happens in this episode.
Yu Jung was doing a lot of waffling between Chungjin and Juwon, and I don't know, there was
Yeah,
some
I have a lot
Sokyun
to
and
say
Kwon
about Yu
Tae time too. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah,
No?
I have a
Okay.
lot to say about Yu in this episode. Yeah, so we're gonna have a Dongjin and Hyewan date to start this, and a
Mhm.
Huihyun and Seokhyun date, right?
Yes.
Also, apparently, Juwon is Jung's soulmate, according to Jung. That was another thing.
That's some ridiculous bullshit she said. That is true. Yes.
And even though Juwon intentionally didn't match with her
She like
for a
never
date,
brings it up, at least as far as we see. It is so weird.
yeah, even though he didn't,
Yeah.
they still decide that they're gonna have lunch together.
Yeah.
So he tanks the date, but then they're still gonna have a lunch date. So okay,
Yeah,
standards seem
baffles me.
weird, but okay, seem inconsistent, but all right.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Episode 18. Here we go.
Yeah, let's do it.
The show starts again. The hosts all predict and agree that Juwon and Jung will pick each other in the end.
So we know that's not happening.
I know, but what one of our big disagreements was what or was it who Juwon's gonna pick in the end?
Yes, I think.
You think
Maybe.
he's gonna pick Jung? At least at the end of the last episode, you did.
Do I? I don't remember.
I just assume he's going to Seokhyun. The intentional not matching for a date, that shit's powerful. Come on. Like the two guys.
Well, the thing about the choices at the end of this show, it feels like they're a little bit more fluid than other shows. Just because they make like exes drive their exes to things and then give them a choice in that moment. So I feel like we're never 100% sure on who they told production. And if, like, I think it's malleable.
Okay.
So,
yeah, we
like,
talked about that last time. But if he
Juwon
had
getting
to...
rejected by Seokhyun could mean that he quote unquote picks Jung, you know, depending
Maybe.
on how they stagger these things. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. Kind of hope it's not, but yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Also, Hyewan still does not know who Dongjin texted instead of her.
Yeah.
So she's still very confused, which is fair.
And she kind of doesn't want to go on this date that they have picked each other for today.
That does seem kind of harsh, right? It's like she didn't even give him the chance to explain it. I mean, I guess he could have said it faster, but she's out on him very quickly for like this
Well,
one
she's
thing
also been talking with Hui Hyun again. She got a
Yeah.
text from him recently, if not this last evening. You know, she's if Hui Hyun's an option, she's not quite as sold on Dongjin, you know?
Yeah. But to be like, I don't even want to go on the date anymore because of this one text.
Yeah.
Seems like an overreaction. I do think Hye-won her decision is still up in the air, even at the end of these 2 episodes.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. We ready for the Hye-won Dongjin date? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Awkward
It is
drive.
real awkward in that car for a while.
I feel like every Dongjin date just starts with awkwardness in the car.
Yeah, but it's like awkwardness he could immediately dispel by just talking about the thing straight away, but he just doesn't.
Yeah, I wrote my notes. Say something, Dongjin. What's going? Because he knows at this point. Like, I don't think he knew right away that he made a mistake or that Hye-won would be upset. But at this point, he knows. So it's just like, explain yourself. Just do it right now.
She even
in the car.
She like brings up the text. She's like
Yeah.
that she lost her appetite after getting the text that he didn't text her or whatever. You know, like, and he still does not explain anything. It's so weird.
He just like stays silent. Yeah, if I was Hye-won, I wrote this. If I was Hye-won right here, I would just be like, okay, this guy isn't into me. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. Move on.
Yep. But they go to a tangerine farm and pick some tangerines, and eventually they're in a restaurant either away from, I forget if it's at the tangerine farm or wherever, but he finally brings up the text and explains his bullshit reasoning, and then she's fine with it. So
Yeah. She seems cool. What I love about this explanation, and he totally explained it the way that we talked it through last time, but just the way that you have to explain the situation, it just sounds like a lie. It just does.
It does.
Like, it really just,
it's so ridiculous.
It was like, oh yeah, like I knew we were gonna match with a date, so yeah, I thought like I feel like I owed this other girl this text that I should have sent her before, but I didn't send it. So I that's the only reason I didn't text you. It really doesn't sound real life at all.
it
but
doesn't.
that is what happened. But it seems like K1 believes him. Okay.
Yeah.
And then at some point they're gonna get couple rings.
Yeah, they get
both
cheap little matching rings.
Both matching dates today, they get couple rings.
That's true.
Interesting.
I feel like these are a bit more serious than the other ones, but you know.
Wait, theirs are just like strings, aren't they?
I know, but like in terms of like this might actually be a couple versus our next date. I think it's going to be a couple. So
yeah, but the rings on the other date are going to have more consequences for the storyline of the show, probably.
That's true.
Okay. I don't know. The rest of this date was kind of
it's whatever. They take pictures of each other. They sing in the car on the way home. It seems fine by the end.
I know. It's Interregnum, right? Who's all about these two?
Yes.
I know. I'll be honest. I'm not really. I mean, if they choose each other, I'm not gonna be upset. I just don't. I'm not super into like either of them. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the more we see Haewon and Hui Hyun together, and you see how she's still very much like into that, makes me feel less vibes about this, you know?
Yeah. I actually just think Hui Hyun and Haewon work together in a way that I feel like I can see it. Whereas this Dongjin stuff is like, it's more just like kind of generic flirtiness to me, as opposed to like, oh, they seem compatible, you know?
Interesting.
I don't know, but we'll get to their conversation later. Where I think I wrote that down later. Yeah. All right. That's all I had on this date.
Yeah, that's it. There's not a lot going on.
Okay, Yoo-jung and Ju-won make lunch.
But like along the way, like when she goes to pick up Ju-won, she peeks into the room where Chongjin is still in bed, and she's like trying to say hi to him. And like I feel like so much of this day is about her trying to like see what Chongjin is doing, even though she is.
That's what she's going to say.
Sort of on an unofficial date on.
Yeah. This is the beginning of my frustration. Return to frustration with Yoo-jung. Because like she tells us like, oh, I was looking forward to spending time with Chongjin today. Actually,
yeah, And yet she made plans with Ju-on.
Yeah, but she had plans with Ju-on. That's fine. But did she really put in that much effort to spend time with Chongjin today? Like, I don't. It really turns into like, oh, this Chongjin guy, he hasn't changed at all.
Well, yeah, she sees him talking with Dahye and she just gets annoyed. Like, it's
yeah, but she literally made plans with another man on the same day.
It doesn't count if it's her. Obviously, there are two separate
my bad.
rules.
Yeah. Duh, okay. But like Chongjin tells us that he knew they were making lunch together and he thought he would just let them be alone together. So yeah, it's like
he's trying to be courteous and she's pissed about it.
Chongjin also wants to talk to her, but she made plans with somebody else and he's like staying out of the way. Yeah. Okay.
Not a great situation.
It's Yu Jung is super frustrating to me in these two episodes. Back to when she talked about Quante in the confessionals. It's like the running thing in this is like, what did Chongjin do wrong? Like, I'm actually so confused, and I don't know if it's like she's referencing things that we don't know about in their past relationship, or it's like actually what's going on in the TV show. But like, I don't know what Chongjin has done to this woman.
I think it's mostly he's just not an affectionate enough person for her. Like, he is not the type of person to like be forthcoming and be like, oh, hey, I love you. Oh, look at me being cute at you. Like, that's not his vibe, and she wants that.
Okay. The way she talks about it makes it seem like he really like did her dirty. I don't know. Like, well, that's just like a personality discrepancy.
I think a lot of it is about how they broke up, whereas he just like was having a hard time and went, nope, goodbye relationship or whatever, and didn't talk come back and like she sent him a big long text going like, hey, I broke up, and he basically went, okay. Like, you know, so like I guess that he didn't fight for her. She broke up, whatever.
That's dumb too. It's like, you broke up with him,
but he accepted it too quickly or whatever, you know. And
that's what you broke up with them. They decide, okay, I'm not gonna have a fight about whether or not we should break up if you've already decided, you know. And then but like, he's the bad guy. I don't know. I just don't vibe with Yu Jung at all.
Yeah.
And also, it's like, is she actually upset with him? Or is this just like a thing she likes to do with Chongjin, where it's like he's always, you know, doing something wrong? I don't know. Because we get to a point at the end of this, like at some point in these two episodes, I'm going to be like, okay, I guess Yu Jung's pitching Ju-on for sure. Like, she seems really out on Chongjin. And then somehow, at the end of episode 19, she is like very, very on the fence about who she's going to choose. Yeah. And I do not know how we got there.
Yeah, like she called Ju-on her literal soulmate. And then now at the end of these two episodes, she's like, oh, I think I might pick Chongjin.
And we like only see her complaining about Chongjin.
Yes.
There's a point when they finally have to go on a date where I wrote in my notes, if Chongjin asked her what time it was, she would not tell him. Like, that is how much she seemed out on Chongjin.
Yep.
So I'm so confused what's going on in Yu Jung's head. I don't get it.
Yeah, same.
But also, if you want to spend time with Chongjin, make plans with him to spend time with him, and he would say
no,
yes.
She wants him to put the effort in to make plans with her.
Okay. Literally, if the show would let them go on a date.
But the show did, and then she acted like she didn't want to be on that date for a lot of it.
Yeah, what the
hell? It's confusing.
Like, Chongjin would have picked her to go on a date if the show let him.
Yeah.
In fact, he literally tanked a date with somebody else so that he would spend time with. Actually, no. Well, she was supposed to be on a date with Ju-on. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay, we hit the credits in episode 18, and then we go to the Hui and Seokhyun date.
Yes. And this is, according to the conversation he had with Haewon last night, this is going to be the thing that helps him decide who he's picking in the end.
Yeah.
This date goes well.
That is how I remember the conversation going. There's going to be some discrepancy as to what they actually talked about. I'm Team Hui all the way. I don't know about you.
Okay.
Based on the conversation I saw, I think it's going to be Hui-hyun's going to be way closer to what they said than what Haewon thinks they said. Yeah. Okay.
I agree.
You're talking about like, oh, will Hui-hyun think about Haewon on this date would be like one of the factors. It's like they literally just talking about Haewon. I swear
that's what he said. Yeah.
They literally just talking about Haewon with Seokhyun. Yeah. So yeah. They're gonna do some wood making, Sarah.
Well, ring making, wooden ring
Oh,
making,
okay. But
yeah.
they're like a wood making store. Huihyun says to Seokhyun, "You must be good at grinding the wood."
Because she's a dentist. I forgot she was a dentist.
Oh yeah, the dentist. Great at grinding wood. Okay.
Well, drills and shit, teeny
I actually
tools.
forgot that she was talking about how she's like used these instruments before. I was like, oh, I guess she just like has a hobby of wood making. I didn't think I forgot she was a dentist.
But yeah, they spend a lot of time talking about how he can't look at people because he's a shy boy,
Yeah, that was kind of funny actually.
and then he just starts talking about Haewon. Yeah, so I don't know. This date doesn't seem to be going like super romantically.
Yeah, this is also coming off of like Seokhyun had like got close with Kwante last night, so like
Yeah,
it seems like she kind of wished this date was with Kwante now instead of with Huihyun.
yeah.
So it's kind of weird.
I think even at some point she's telling him that she's upset that Quante wasn't interested in her the whole time.
Yeah,
Like she's like, "Oh, if only he'd been interested in me the whole time, everything would be fine."
yeah. And then I think even when they're in the car going home, she basically just encourages him to go after Hyewon, right?
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
all right,
So I mean, I guess
it's
it's
over.
true. This date did decide who he's picking in the end.
Yeah, and I think Huihyun even lets us know that he can tell that Seokhyun isn't picking him now.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think we resolved this potential couple now. It's not happening.
Yeah. It's not happening.
Okay. All right. Then we go back to the house, and Yu Jung, Dahae, and Jong Un are talking.
Yes. I think Dahae and Yujung are like lamenting boys who don't express their feelings, and Jongin is like, I don't know, if they express them too much, it's a real bad time
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah. I wrote Yu Jung is frustrated with Changjin because he doesn't express his feelings like Juwon does. I just wrote like, is this fair to Changjin? Because like I don't know, like we have the God's view, so
Uh-huh.
we know what's going on. But like,
Right.
I think later on, like the only host that I like on the show is the older guy, and he has like a similar perspective to me, where it's like Changjin is the one that like actually wholeheartedly wants to be with Yu Jung.
Yeah.
And I guess yeah, he's bad at expressing it, but he's the one that actually feels that way. Whereas like somehow from Yu Jung's perspective, like Juwon has expressed himself more, but he's the one that's actually not 100% in on Yu Jung. It's like
Right.
it's just it seems kind of unfair to Changjin, and I think Changjin is gonna
Um,
step it up a little bit in these two episodes.
well, I mean, ultimately, like, if that's the way Yu Jung needs to feel loved, she's not compatible with Changjin. Like, regardless of whose fault it
Yeah,
is.
I don't think
Like,
she's compatible with either one. I'll be honest. I don't think either one is gonna work for her.
well, yeah, that's because we know that Juwon's pretty much lying to her most of the
Yeah,
time.
it's just
But like from her perspective, like I get why she's feeling this way about him. He's providing the things that she wants. Whether or not they are authentic is, outside of her knowledge.
I guess what bothers me, like, if you want to be like, yeah, Changjin doesn't express himself enough, like, we don't work together. I totally get that. But to be like, Changjin isn't like Juwon, because Juwon is so honest with how he's feeling with me. It's like, well, that's not actually true. So I don't know. I guess I'm just like Changjin. I'm getting annoyed that she's comparing Juwon to Changjin and thinks Juwon's so great for like
Well, when
reasons that aren't true. Yeah,
she is literally picking between two different guys, it is hard to not compare and contrast,
I guess.
But
Yeah,
yeah, it's not fair for her to say to him, like, Juwon is way better than you in this way and that way. Like, she could just be like, I need you, someone who is more expressive and makes me feel a certain way, and you do not do that, so we should not be together.
yeah. That I would get if she was just like, you and I aren't gonna work, regardless of this Juwon guy. And like at this point, I was also curious, like, I guess it's because we just know, but like, what is he currently not communicating to her? Is like what like I feel like Changjin has like only texted her. He tanked the date with Dahae, right?
Uh-huh. Right.
Like his actions are
Well, she
very
doesn't want
very
actions
clear.
as much as she wants words, I think,
It's just
And I think
so
like,
picky. I don't
well,
know.
it's these are, people need to feel loved in different ways. And I
I
mean, I think it's
guess.
valid that like he doesn't fulfill that for her, so she's, not feeling it.
Yeah. I guess. I guess it's just the comparison thing that's annoying me the most. I guess.
Okay. What really threw me for something was like these three women all agree that Ju-won is the best guy here. And I'm like, that's an interesting take, okay? Like nobody sees that, like seems to see that like he would drop Yu Jung in a second if Sokyeon would just,
Yeah, I don't think they know
you
that.
know,
Yeah, they haven't
it's
seen
weird.
him and Seokyeon together, which so I guess that makes sense from their perspective.
Yeah, I
I mean,
guess.
he's just like the guy that's like he's like doing the best at looking like the best new boyfriend for somebody, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Even though we know that's not necessarily the case, but yeah, I don't know why they just wouldn't know that. Also, can I say like, if anything, I also feel like Yu Jung is not communicating very well with Changjin. Can I say that?
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of times she just like shuts down and doesn't talk to him.
If I
Yeah.
was Changjin, I'd be like, what is going on with this with Yu Jung? Like she didn't text me, then she texted me, and it seemed like it was going good, and then all of a sudden it's not going to be going good, and I'm gonna be like, what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, she really wants Changjin to change, right? She like
Mm-hmm.
specifically phrases it that way. It's not like the same thing as what Min what's his name?
Minhyung?
Mizid Minhyung. At some point I had to write down his name in my notes and I was just like, I don't remember what the second half of his name was. Because I haven't written it down. I haven't written down his name. Oh, it's when we got to the truth game, I think.
Mm.
He asked
Yeah.
people that I cared about a question, so I had to write it down. And I was just like, Min whatever. I don't remember your name. Yeah, it's like it's not quite the same as him, but it is like kind of the same vein, right? Of like she's trying to change him, right?
Yeah.
Now she's not being like you need to change and this is how you need to change. It's like more vague, which I don't even know what's better and what's worse, you know?
I think it might be vague to us, but I think like between Yu Jung and Changjin, like they know how he's meant to change.
But it didn't bother you that like she's trying to make him change.
Oh well, that's like dumb because it's not going to work. But
Yeah.
you know.
Well, when they finally start talking about what it is, which is just like
Mm-hmm.
him expressing his feelings more with her and like what
Yeah.
he's thinking and what he's feeling at times. I don't feel like that's that hard to change, I'll be honest. Like
That feels like a thing that's going to change for like a couple months, and then it's just going to go back to the way it was, and it's just going to be one of those
really?
really awkward cycles. I don't like. Yeah, some
I don't think
people
it's
are.
that hard. I
I
mean
don't know.
some people try to like hold their emotions close and in Changjin's situation, he specifically like is worried about like burdening her with any like troubles
Uh
he's
huh.
going through.
Which is like the whole half of the whole point of a relationship, right? Is to support each other. Like, come on, get over it, dude. But you know,
Yeah. I mean, if Changjin doesn't need that and she is fine with just supporting her and not getting support back, but she's like upset that
that's
she doesn't get to support
unhealthy.
him. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, if he can deal with it, it's fine. But I feel like it's not that hard. Like once somebody says, like if she says to her, like, or he wants her to be like, just promise you won't be burdened if I do share my feelings with you or something, right? I don't know. I feel
Uh
like they're
huh.
getting there, and I don't think it's
Okay.
like actually that hard of a thing to change.
I guess.
It's kind of it's not like he has to change with everybody, right? He could still be like he can still hold his
Yeah.
emotions in front of everybody else and do his normal thing. It's just like only with her, he has to open up a little bit, which I don't think that's actually that hard to get to that point.
I guess it's a thing that I would trust more maybe if they were still in a relationship and working through things rather than like it would not be a thing I would bank a getting back together on. You know? Like if
Um,
I already broke up with a person and I don't think
hmm.
I would I wouldn't bank the whole getting back together on, oh yeah, they're gonna change. They say they're gonna I don't know. I
I
don't think I
I
would.
think it's like small enough of a thing though, where it's like okay, if they say they're willing to do it, and they like, I think Changjin maybe it's not a lot, but he at least shows something by the end of these two episodes.
Mm,
I think it's enough to be like, okay, let's give this another chance. You don't have to go into it being like, oh, for sure this is gonna work 100%. But it's like a small enough thing that I feel like it's if you still like the person and if they
yeah.
do change, you'd be happy. I feel like it's a small enough thing that it's worth giving another try.
Yeah, but when you're saying some other dude is your whole ass soulmate, like I
Yeah,
don't see how
again, I
this.
don't really believe that just can't be true.
Yeah,
Based on how she acts at the end of this, that just can't that was an overreaction.
yeah,
Otherwise, there wouldn't be a decision to be made.
yeah.
Yeah, I still feel like there was like something very specific that we're missing. Maybe not. Maybe it's really literally just this like. I guess is it this fear that like again it's weird because she broke up with him, but is it just fear like oh we'll get back together and then Changjin's gonna like go through some rough times and then Changjin's just gonna like dump her all of a sudden without explaining his feelings?
Or shut down again, like I guess he
I
did
guess he gets
when
yeah I
they
guess
were
it must have
together.
been what it
Like,
was like he just kind of shut down,
yeah,
but he didn't shut down because he wanted to break up. It wasn't like a like sometimes people like kind of act standoffish so that the other person will break up. It wasn't like that, right? Like he didn't want to break up. It was just like he didn't want to burden her, I guess, with whatever he was going through. I don't know.
I don't know. It sounded almost a little self-sabotagey about like
Okay.
he didn't feel like it was another one of those not quite feeling worthy of her because his job situation was janky, and
Oh, is it? It was like a Huihan situation?
yeah.
Hmm.
Except I think he maybe self-sabotaged a little bit more, or just however he was dealing with feeling that way meant he kind of closed himself off, and kind of
Okay.
that's why she
I thought he
broke up
said
with him.
something. I thought he said something later that was like he never wanted to break up or something. But he didn't. Yeah, he didn't fight for it. But
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that it was entirely a conscious decision to like force her to break up with him, but
hmm,
I don't know.
yeah.
I would say he was a active participant in the downfall of their relationship, at least.
Okay. I mean, like I'm kind of on team. Like, okay, if somebody wants to break up with me, I'll just be like, oh, that sucks. But if that's what you want, like I don't know.
I think it might have been worse than that. I think he left her on red for like a week or something, even. Like, did not even respond K to the breakup text, which is a little worse.
But she's also breaking up with him through text. I don't know. It's like I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Fair.
I'm not what I don't really. I guess I just get Changjin more than I get you, John. I don't know. Be like, oh yeah,
Yeah, I think
if
that's
someone
fair.
doesn't want to be with me, like what can I do about it?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
I get that. All right, so they then all get a text to go to an address. It is
Truth Game
the
Lodge.
Truth or Drink game. Yeah, yeah.
Truth Game Lodge. All right.
We do get some Juwon Yujung singing in a car that Chungjin is driving, and
Oh, yeah, that
Chungjin
was
is
awkward.
annoyed.
Yeah. I get it. I get it. Okay, so they get there. They'll get there eventually. Oh, the people that weren't on date show up first, and then Huihyun and Seokhyun get there, and they like people see
Show off their
the rings, and they're
rings.
showing them off.
Juwon is annoyed.
K1 is not there yet, though.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Juwon is annoyed. Yeah.
I think Dongjin and Haewon show up last, and they're like, they have a fuck ton of tangerines that they picked together. She's wearing his jacket. They have these rings on. Dahae notices the rings. They are coupley as fuck when they come in.
Yeah. And then Hyewon notices Huihyun's ring.
Yes.
And then she not only the ring, but she's also like, oh, he also dressed like extra nice today. I could tell. He usually doesn't look that nice. But the thing is, like, she's wearing a ring too, though. So
yeah, but again, different rules for different people. You know, nobody's consistent.
So yeah, okay. All right, they eat food. They get a letter. It's truth game time.
Yeah, but this time, I think last time it was just you get one drink to avoid a question, and that's pretty much the rules, other than I guess no direct questions about the final decision, which is the same here. But here they say that each person gets 3 questions. So I feel like last season, when oh, what's her name? Haeun like asked Mingyu 6 million questions during this, they're like, we got to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Oh, is that what happened? I forgot about that. Yeah. Well, if one person gets 3 questions, like to ask 3 questions, but like the same person could get asked 30 questions.
Oh yeah,
Theoretically.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. It doesn't. Yeah. Did they specifically talk about like did the production make a drinking rule last time?
They did not. It wasn't in the letter this time. I think last time that was like the rule.
Or are we getting confused with another show?
We might be getting confused.
I feel like in Love Catcher Bali, it was like 21 questions, and then they like whoever got asked got to ask the next one, and they specifically had like, oh, you're allowed to pass on one. So I don't know if that was that show or this show in season 2. I don't know.
Well, they don't say anything in the official rules about drinking, but then I think everybody sort of decides that yeah, we will implement that rule that you get to drink to avoid a question.
Yeah, and they could have drank to every question if they wanted to, right?
I guess
people don't, and I was impressed.
Yeah, that's true. I think somebody avoids a question. Like it happens once, I think, that we see maybe.
Yeah, I didn't write that one down. And then Ju-won has like a weird moment where he technically drinks, but he kind of answered the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy. We've gotten to the truth game, and the exes haven't gone on any dates yet. It's actually just wild. Okay. All right. You gonna lead me through all these? Oh my god, there's so many. What the
We're gonna go through all these questions.
I don't know.
Right,
Are they all worthy?
I don't know. I guess we get Yoo-jung asks Haewon who she would choose if she got to go on one last date.
Okay.
And she says Hui-hyun.
She hesitates.
Yeah. But confessional Dongjin totally understands. He's like, I understand her choice 100%. He's very forgiving in confessional.
Where do you think Dongjin's at in this moment? At the start of the show, where we think he's picking Haewon? Well,
in this moment, yeah.
I mean, if I wasn't reading the edit, I would say he would be picking Haewon at this moment.
Yeah.
Okay. But he understands, he still has his ex on his mind too. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, it makes sense. Like, she said, who would you want to go on a date with if you had one last date? And she picked her ex. It's like they literally haven't been out on a date. So it's not even like...
Yeah. It's like she's been on so many dates with Dongjin.
Yeah. It's not that scandalous of a thing to say that I was like, oh, I want to date my ex who I haven't dated the whole show. Yeah, then Haewon asks Seokhyun the same question.
Yeah, she takes a long while. I feel like
she hesitates.
A lot of trouble answering.
Yeah. She hesitates, but then she says, Kwante.
Yes.
Let's go.
Then she asks Chungjin if he is set on one person, and he says yes, but Yoo-jung is annoyed at how long it took him to answer.
Sorry, he last Chung. Yeah. Oh yeah. He hesitates.
So,
He hesitates, and then we cut to Yoo-jung in confessional, complaining about Chungjin again.
Mm-hmm.
How did I'm in a relationship with my ex and another guy on the show, but how dare he? How dare he even consider for a second that he might not be set on one person?
And then we go to a confessional of him where he's just like, I just really didn't want to hurt Dahae, it's not like he was ever like waffling between them. He just is trying to be like a sensitive person to like other people's feelings.
Because also he says he says yes, I am set on one person is ultimately what he says. So she's like upset with him that he didn't instantly say that he was set on one person.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So like if like it's crazy. Okay. Whatever.
She's also primed to be annoyed with him no matter what he does, right? Like she's
and I
generally has bigger beef with him, so every little thing.
Every time. I'm calling her out every time. I don't care. I don't care. This is the classic Yoo-jung that I hate right here. It's back. It's back for the end of the season. Yeah. And then he tells us he is set on Yoo-jung in the confessional. So yeah, Yoo-jung sucks. Yoo-jung, I will say Yoo-jung is like good casting for the show. I'm not going to complain about her being on the show. I'm just saying I do not like her personality. That's all I'm saying. All right. Other than when she gets people to talk about their exes. That's the one thing I enjoyed about her. But when she talks about her ex or any guy that's like currently trying to date her and she's not into it.
Yeah. I would like her as an embedded host on one of these shows, like she be a host that gets to go on set and just ask people to talk about their exes. That would work. You don't have to hear anything about her dating life.
Yeah. She's not worried about making other people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
All right. Changjin asks Hui-hyun, are you set on one person? He says, I think so. But he says it pretty much right away, right?
Yeah. But I have to assume that Haewon is assuming he means Seokhyun right now.
That's possible, yeah.
Because she always assumes the worst.
Yeah. And he's not allowed to be like, yeah, it's Haewon. That's like against the rules. So
Yeah, exactly.
He tells us though in confessional that it's Haewon.
Yeah.
Okay.
He asks Dongjin, among the guys, who are you the most worried about right now?
What kind of question is this? I was actually so confused by this question, and it took me a while to like understand what just happened.
Oh, really?
Because people said
it's just like
I interpreted worried. It's just like a weird English translation, I guess. But I interpreted worried as like, oh, who do you think on the show is like struggling the most?
Oh,
that's like how I interpret
took it right away as like, who are you worried is gonna steal your woman?
That's not how I figured out that that's what people were taking it as, because Dongjin says you, meaning Hui-hyun. And then I was like, oh yeah, poor Hui-hyun, he's been struggling on the show. And then everybody just starts cracking up and laughing. And then
Yeah,
Huihin,
apparently this is a badass way he answered or something.
well,
I don't
it's
know.
an honest answer
Yeah.
to like who are you worried about like taking the person you're interested in. But like I just interpreted it as like, oh, who are you worried about? Like who's struggling on the show? And then Dong, I thought Jongjin was saying like, oh, I'm worried about you, Hui, and you seem like you be struggling on the show. But then everyone just starts cracking up laughing, and then they cut to Hui's face, and he does not look amused. And I was like, are they just like bullying this man? Like, what's
I
happening?
don't know.
Oh, and then I don't know if it cut to the host or something, and eventually I was like, oh, he meant like I'm worried about you and Hyewan. I was like, oh, okay, that
Hmm.
makes a lot more sense. I
Yeah.
really thought everybody was like laughing at Hui's face for a second. I was so confused.
But you would think, like, I don't know, Hui Hyun would maybe not, but be a little, pleased that that Dongjin still thinks he's a threat, like then he feels he's still got an in with Haewon. I don't know.
Yeah, it was Hui's facial reaction was kind of weird, where he looked kind
Hmm.
of I don't know.
Like I don't know what other answer he expected to this
He
question.
did not laugh with everybody.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he seemed to be bothered by it to some extent. Although I guess it confirms that Dongjin is serious about Yeon, maybe from his perspective. I
yeah,
don't know. I don't know how you should react to the answer.
yeah. Like I don't know what other answer he would
Yeah,
expect.
what did he expect when he answered that question? I don't know. Or he
Yeah.
asked the question. I don't know. Yeah. All right, then Dongjin asked somebody a question, I assume, but we don't need to know that question. But eventually, Songjong asks Kwante, "Do you currently have feelings for one person?" And he says yes right away. Kwante.
Hmm.
Uh, no confessional saying who he meant, but we know it's Sokyun, right?
Wait, yeah. I think everybody knows it's
Okay.
Sokyon at this point.
Yeah, Quante makes it obvious.
Yeah, yeah.
Quante asks Juwon. This is a goofy ass question, Quante. I don't know what that. At least the English phrasing of this is goofy. Maybe the intent
I
of it.
think this is a perfect question to ask Juwon to fuck up Juwon's game, right? Like because he's trying to hide under like he asks him if your feelings for your ex are above 50%. And
Does it say above? Okay, that's where I was missing.
yeah.
I wrote down, "Are your feelings for your ex about 50%?" I was like, "What kind of question is that?" I was
Oh.
just like, "Just say no," and then nobody knows what you mean. Could go either way. So
But
it said above 50%. That makes more sense. Okay.
he does so many like mental gymnastics to try to not answer it. And he's like, isn't that too direct? Because, you all know who my ex is, and it's basically so close to the final day. Like, what? And then he finally like drinks instead of answering it.
I actually agree. If that's the case, I actually agree with you on. I don't think that's a fair question.
Really?
Yeah, because it's
Hmm.
too close. It is too close. If like you're basically saying he's basically asking like which person are you leaning towards right now, and I don't think
Yeah.
that's a fair question considering
Mm.
where they are in this on the TV show.
Yeah, but like 100%, that's not why Juwon doesn't want to say. It's because he needs to maintain the facade to Jung that she is the one that he wants the most, and that's not true.
Okay, so if he had truthfully answered the question, what would he have said?
He would have said yes.
So you think in this moment he's leading Seokhyun?
Yeah, I think there's never been a moment he's not leaning Seokhyun, except maybe like
Yeah, I guess that's probably
the
true.
5 minutes after a fight.
Yeah, but he keeps texting you. He's going to text you, Jung, after this. But you think that's just to keep it going? I guess.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. What's weird though is like it's kind of going to seem like Seokhyun is leaning Kwante by the end of this
Hmm.
truth game. So I don't know. It's a little if he's not leaning Yu Jung, it seems a little bit. And if he is leaning Seokhyun, it seems a little risky to not text her. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I'm on Juwon's side here. I don't think that's a fair question.
Okay. I mean, but you agree about the reason he actually wants to hide it, right? Like,
Um,
I don't think we must strictly follow the rules.
I think he could have just drank and been like, I'm not answering it. But
Hmm.
he chose to like challenge the validity of the question.
Yeah, that covers it extra. Or at least it's an attempt to cover
I
it
don't know.
extra.
I don't know how. Maybe I don't know if he was trying to do anything. Look, I'm not Team Juwon. Like, if you want to shit on Juwon, I'm
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
I just did it. It
Yeah,
wasn't.
this is me shitting on
This
Juwon.
is not the moment that I chose to do it.
Okay, okay.
Okay, above 50%. I gotta write this down. Better. Okay, that makes sense. Our Juwon asks Seokhyun, "Do you have someone that you're attracted to excluding Juwon though.
Yeah, Dahe has to like get the clarification there. And like he's sulky and he's like, yeah, it's gotta exclude me. She doesn't even want to go on a date with me. Because, earlier she said
Quante instead of her.
Quante. Yeah. So he is so pouty.
Yeah. It is interesting to think about, like, again, what is Yoojung thinking during this truth game? Like, watching Juwon ask questions and answer questions. Like, he's singling out his ex to be like, is there someone you're attracted to besides me? I don't know. Seems just a little, based on what Yoojung has told us about what she does not like her guys doing.
I mean, maybe this is where he gets downgraded from soulmate,
Maybe
this is why by the end of it she's so 50-50.
That would make sense to me. Yeah. All right, we skipped some people here, I think, but then eventually Dahae asked Yoojung, who would you text right now? You don't actually have to text them, they're going to text right after this, but in this moment before we actually text, who would you text? And Yoojung says Juwon.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's who she's going to text.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's not out on him yet.
There you go. That's a good question by Dahae, right? Is Dahae trying? Dahae definitely wants to know how Chungjin feels about her, right?
Yeah.
But does Dahae actually want Chungjin to pick her at the end? I feel like she might. I feel like she might.
I think she's open to it. I think she's not like, oh my god, I need this guy. But I think she'd like it.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think aside from that, I think she is like rooting for Yoojung and Juwon because she talks to Yoojung a lot, and like Yoojung's always over the moon about Juwon. Like I think she's invested in that from a friendship perspective.
But this question is kind of like trying to get Chungjin information, right? That's why she chose to do it.
Oh, I guess. Oh, that is true. She doesn't know. She knows that Chungjin must be texting Yoojung, but she doesn't know who Yoojung's texting. Okay, I guess it could be that. Yeah.
Like she's just trying to be like, hey, Chungjin, Yoojung's not going to text you again, just so you know. Just so you know, bro. Because you want to change up your strategy at all.
I always assume just the best, most innocent things from Dahae, but you're right.
It doesn't have to be like, oh, Dahae's trying to like get him,
manipulate the situation or whatever. But
Dahae wants him so bad that she's trying to like totally manipulate. But like, it's kind of doing him a solid just to be like, just so you know, this is where you stand.
Well, I mean, it's not really giving him any new information, right? Because he knows who his ex is texting. He gets that text.
Well, he's getting an hour before. He has a chance to know that she's not going to text him this time because she has texted him, right, the last 2 days.
Oh yeah,
so
she did text
now
him
he's finding he's finding out. Oh, she's not texting me tonight. It doesn't change what Chungjin's going to do, but it was just
that's true. Yeah. Okay,
all right. Yoojung asks Seokhyun, can you root for your ex if he becomes a couple with someone else? Not a very meaningful question, in my opinion. I'll be honest.
I mean, it is a gauge of like how out on her last relationship she is, I guess. Like in theory, the goal is to see if she would be jealous about it, right? Because if she wouldn't be jealous and she'd just be fine with supporting them, it would be like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm done with this.
But then ask that question. Ask like, would you be jealous if your ex leaves the show in a new relationship? But this question is like, would you root for them? And it's like, I don't care, like whether you root for them or not. It doesn't say anything about you or how you feel about your ex, right? Or it says something about how you feel about them, but like it doesn't equate to jealousy.
I wonder if this might be a translation thing. Like I feel like we've seen a question similar to this elsewhere, and I think it is that sentiment of just like, would you be jealous or would you be upset if your ex left with somebody else?
But I feel like you could just also be like, okay, my ex is in a new relationship, but I don't care. I'm not rooting for them. I'm not rooting against them. Doesn't matter to me anymore. Like, I don't know. I just thought it wasn't a very meaningful question.
Well, she could say that as an answer, but that's not what she says. Like, she takes a while. She's just like, yeah, I can't. I don't think I can root for him, and I don't want to see it.
But I'm saying that indicates the meaning of what she's saying could be interpreted many ways to me. But
well, the fact that she says, I hope I don't see it, feels like she's saying she would be hurt by seeing it. Like that gives some indication on how she's feeling about the situation.
I just wrote down that she said, I don't think so. Okay. But also, I just wrote, like, who cares? She doesn't have to care. That's what I wrote.
Yeah, but she does. She still cares.
I mean, she doesn't have to, like, who cares? She doesn't have to root for him, I guess is what I meant in my notes. It's like, I don't know. Like, whether you root for or don't root for your ex once they're not dating you anymore doesn't really indicate anything about you. Doesn't have to indicate anything about you, I guess is how
I would think like cases where you wouldn't root for your ex would be like, oh, I hate them. I don't want anything good to happen to them. And I think if that's the
No,
case, you're not on this
that's rooting
show, right?
against them. That's actively rooting against them.
Right. So, like, I think you're not expecting that answer on this show. Like, if you came on this show, you're at least theoretically a little bit open
But you could just
to
not
like getting
root for
back
them,
together with this person.
and it's just because like, oh, you don't care. You don't care either way.
Yeah, but
you're not rooting against
but
them
that's
or
just
for
like
them.
like if you don't care, then it's just like, yeah, sure. Like, why would you not be able to be like, oh yeah, I hope good things happen for them? Like being
What?
neutral on that feels weird.
What? Why would no? Yeah, neutral's the most
It's
normal thing to be after.
I don't know. It feels a
not
little
dating
petty
somebody.
to be like, no, I can't root. Like, I have no feelings for this person, but I cannot root for them to have a new relationship. That feels petty.
Okay. I mean, I'm not rooting against them, but I don't. I mean, I'm not like, I'm not gonna like, no matter who they're dating. I don't know. Root for, I don't know. I guess it's just how you look at it.
Like what is rooting for? It's just like being like, yeah, okay, good job. I don't, like it's just wishing them well. Like it's not even a thing you have to do.
Because this is
much.
actually almost, this question is almost very specific to Yu Jung as well, right? So it's almost saying like, could you root for me and?
Oh yeah, that's
Yu-Jung.
100% what she's asking. Like that,
but like
not very veiled.
You could root against, like, if you don't like if she doesn't like Yu Jung or thinks Yu Jung is bad for Ju-won, like she could root against it, and that's like also okay, right? Like, but I guess you're rooting for them to not have a bad relationship with that person. I don't know. It's a dumb question. I'm just gonna stick with that. Who cares?
I think she got exactly the information she wanted out of it. So
okay,
okay,
so she got out that she would be jealous. All right,
yeah.
That's what you think she's getting out of this. Okay, and
yeah.
how does that make her feel? How does that make her think? What is it like? What did that affect?
Well, because did they talk about it already? Yeah, I think last episode she did have a conversation with Sokyun about how they both believe if Sokyun wanted Ju-won back, he would go to her.
Okay.
And so by gauging how jealous Sokyun would be of him with a new person, she can kind of get a read on how likely it is that Sokyun's going to turn around and actually be open to Ju-won and lure him away or whatever, you know?
Okay. So this answer would deter her from wanting to be with Ju-won?
It is information to put in her database of reasons to waffle between two boys for a long while.
Okay. All right. Whatever. All right. Sokyun asks Ju-won, and she starts to cry because she said Ju-won.
Immediately.
She said Ju-won.
Yep.
That's what she tells us. I said his name, and I start to cry.
Yep.
All right. She says, including our days in Seoul, were you attracted to someone more than me? That's a very complicated question to answer. I'll be honest. It's like, okay, in this time on this show from the beginning, were you attracted?
You ever like somebody more than you liked
at any
me?
point in time? I guess it was complicated because I felt like if he just said yes, you almost have no idea what he means by that. But he says no.
But by no, you know exactly what.
But he says no, so you know exactly what he meant by that.
Exactly.
But I just felt like he could have just said yes and you would have no idea what he meant. But yeah, Yu Jung tells us that didn't feel good.
Well, I would be surprised if it did feel good.
There was no point. Okay, this is the most honest Ju-won has ever been, right? With Yu Jung?
Yeah.
Like, this is probably... Yeah.
Yep.
Let's be clear. He says at no point in this entire TV show has Yu Jung been more attracted to Yu Jung than Sokyun. That is the thing that just happened, right? I'm not going crazy?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Yeah, she says that, or I think Yu Jung says she's sad she has to face the truth that Sokyun still has a huge presence in his heart. That's the confessional we get. Okay.
Finally seems like an accurate read on the situation.
Yeah. Like, ultimately with Yu Jung, it's gotten to the... when we get to more later, like, it ultimately feels like she's not even choosing between two good options. Like, by her own standards, both options are bad. And like, the reason she's waffling is because neither option is like clearly good. It's kind of how I feel. So it kind of just sucks the air out of like the gravity of her decision for me a little bit. But like both when choices she's
talking with
good.
People, yeah, it seems like they don't seem good to us. But like when she's talking to people, she doesn't express worry that Ju-won's gonna pick Sokyun or that he's not really into her. She does talk about it as though both of these guys are 100% into her, right? And it's just her choice.
That's the way she talks about it?
Yeah, like none of these like worries ever come up. She like brings up like she's like, Juwon would make me happiest, but I feel bad about hurting Chungjin. Is what it like boils down to at the end. And it's not, maybe I should pick Chungjin because Juwon won't pick me.
Yeah, that's not how, when she like talks to like the other women, she doesn't really frame it that way. You're right. Like,
yeah.
But is that just like her personality? Like she wants to feel like, or maybe she wants all the women to feel like she's people's options. I don't know.
I think she just really wants to believe that Juwon's gonna pick her because she is so into him.
If she believes Juwon wants to pick her and she's just complaining about Chungjin nonstop, I have no idea why she's so like. Why is Chungjin even on the table? I'm just confused. She has to be worried about Juwon too. Otherwise, it would be such an easy choice.
But I think for the most part, except for that one time when she was talking with Sokyeon, I don't think she wants to voice it. Like, almost talking about it makes it more real, Like, she wants to believe that he's going to pick her.
Yeah, she's not saying it, but she has to be feeling it, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe she's just, like, real fine with it and just, like, his choice is out of my control, and so she's just facing it from a who do I want more perspective. Maybe, but I don't know. She doesn't really voice that.
But she's given us no reason that she would not want Juwon more, other than that Juwon likes Sokyeon still. Like that's the only thing she doesn't like about him, right?
Right.
Okay. I really hope that she picks Juwon and Juwon picks Sokyeon. That's what I want to happen.
Okay.
And somehow Chungjin picks Dahyeh. Let's go. That's the dream. I
don't think it's gonna happen.
That's the dream. Yeah, I don't think so either. I thought there was like a moment where I was like, okay, maybe this is gonna happen, but no. Okay. Okay. Juwon asks Sokyeon. They're going back and forth now.
Yeah.
Do you want to leave this place without any dates with me? Like, are you a silly girl? Or what?
He does say, like, everybody else wants to go on the last date with their ex. Like, basically, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. I wrote, I don't think Yoojong's gonna like this question either.
Yeah. I have a feeling she did not like much about this evening at all.
She's still gonna text him.
Yeah, Sokyeon basically says, that's true, she's gonna text him. But Sokyeon says that she's worried she'll be swayed if she goes on a date with him. So, like, right there, that's got to be all the information that Yoojong needs. Because, like, shortly after this, they are going to find out that they have to go on a date with their ex. And if that's all it takes for Sokyeon to come around on Juwon, that should be enough.
Yeah. Juwon's reaction, though, is like, oh, so you don't want to. Like, so his reaction is like, oh, that's not a real excuse. You just don't want to go on a date with me. I feel like there are so many points where it seems like Juwon is over Sokyeon, and I just don't believe it. But like, it happens all the time. It happens all the time where he's like, yeah, this was the moment. This time for sure, I know
for real
she's over me, and I don't have a chance with her. Yeah. Also, this is a weird thing for Kwante to hear, right? Like,
it's a weird thing for everyone to have to sit through, honestly.
Yeah. Okay. Then Kwante is going to ask Sokyeon a question. He said, am I included in the people you are romantically attracted to? I think the word romantically was important in this question. Right?
Yeah.
She hesitates, and then she says yes. Okay. Okay.
I mean, honestly, what other questions is Kwante going to ask at this point, right?
Yeah.
Unless he wants to cause chaos with somebody else, it's
a question that
make
actually
sure
pertains to
a little
him.
bit.
Yeah. Okay. Sokyeon asks Jong-un, I have zero lingering feelings for my ex. And she's supposed to be like, I agree or disagree, I guess.
Yeah.
And she says yes. So she agrees with that statement.
Immediately.
Yeah, that was an easy one. Yeah, I have no lingering feelings.
And then Jong-un's like asking Juwon, do you have room to spare for a new person? Because, like, this is the person she's interested in now. And he's just like, nah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah. I wrote down, see you, Jong. If you just pick Kwante, there'd be no ex, there'd be no lingering feelings with the exes.
That's true.
Could have been easy. Okay. Yeah, when Jong-un asked that question to Juwon, do you have spare room for a new person? I wrote, like, get him. in my notes because I thought I thought she meant to like do you have new like room for anybody besides your ex? Is what I thought she was asking. And then he said no, and I was like, oh god. But then I was like, oh, she's asking like between Seokhyun and Yoo-jung, do you have like room for a third? I was like, oh, okay, that's not spicy at all. I thought it was like crazy. And then I was like, does Yoo-jung? I mean, like, could have Yoo-jung misinterpreted this like I did? Probably not.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And honestly, like Jungwon's got nothing else going on, so like
I'm just saying Yoo-jung could have thought what I thought, which is meant she was like spare room for a new because she says, do you have room for a spare room for a new person? And to me, like a new person in the context of this show is like anybody but your ex. But yeah, I think it was meant to be like a third person. Yeah. Okay. Minhyun asked Hyewon, if you have not decided on one person yet, would it be because of you or your ex? Okay, I actually like this question. Minhyun bust out this question. I like it. It's an interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hyewon says, she is the reason. Which meaning like her interest in Dongjin is the reason that she's not decided, not because of whatever Huihyun is doing. Correct? Am I interpreting that right?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, I like that. I like that question.
Or wait. Let's do that. Because wait, what did Huihyun say earlier? Did he say he was certain about?
No. I think he's gonna get the same question later. Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, no. He already Huihyun got asked already, are you currently set on one person?
Yeah.
And so when I saw this, I thought Minhyun was asking, do you think you are the reason your ex is set already?
Oh.
But maybe I was wrong.
The way he phrases it is like, it's like a hypothetical. He phrases it like a hypothetical question that might not be hypothetical. So he says, if you have not decided on one person, Hyewon, she might have already decided, but if you had not, even if you have not signed it, if you have, hypothetically, if you have not, would it be because of you or your ex? And I think that's asking, like, would you not be decided because you're deciding because you're interested in somebody else, or you're worried that your ex is interested in somebody else? I guess it's kind of how I interpret the question.
Or, yeah, I was more like, do you think your ex is decided on one person because you are either into a new person or not decided yet or something? I don't know. It was confusing.
I'm lost. Your interpretation, I am lost. But okay. I think I interpret it to be she is genuinely interested in Dongjin, and that is why she is not decided.
I took it as she thought she was the person that her ex was decided on, I think.
Oh, that's like kind of the other side of it. It's like,
yeah,
you could answer it that way. Like, oh, my ex is decided, so it's not their fault. It's gonna be my fault. It's my fault that.
Yes.
I don't know. Okay.
No,
it's a goofy question, but I kind of liked it. It doesn't give away anything, and it's like kind of interesting information. All right. Hyewon asked Huihyun. Oh, this is the.
Oh, this is
the what that we talked about last night. Did you keep the promise you made me last night? And I wrote immediately in my notes, meaning that he would decide today. That's what I thought. That's what I thought the promise was. It's gonna not. Neither of them are gonna think that's what he's saying yes to.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, and she clarifies that he said he would do something today a certain way, and I'm like, okay, that means he's deciding today. He would go on this date with the intent to decide, right? But that's not how either of them think of it.
Yeah.
He thinks he would just go on his date and just worry about his date. Like they would both go on their dates and focus on their dates and they'd go on them earnestly or whatever, you know? And she thought he said he wouldn't enjoy his date today.
Yeah, which is a crazy promise if that's what... I don't remember. I promise
I'm going to have a bad time with this person I'm interested in.
I don't remember anything close to that. Like the focus on our dates thing, like kind of is in the same line with like, okay, let's focus on our dates that we can decide. Like kind of is in the same vein. But you promised me that you would not have a good time on your date today. It's like, I don't remember anything close to that happening.
I don't remember it either, but maybe he said some shit like that they didn't show, but you think if this came up, they would show it. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm inclined to believe that K1 misinterpreted something
Yeah.
more than
Same.
I think Huihyun is closer to what actually happened. Um, if this is what she wanted to happen, is this more or less toxic than Seokhyun telling Juwon who to text? It's like, yeah, just
It
don't
is
have a good time
in
on
the
this date.
same boat.
You promise me you won't have a good time on this date.
Yeah. It's not great. Don't love
Okay.
it.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Minhyun asked Yoojung, if you're not certain about one person, are you the reason or your ex? I kind of love this question. And she says, I think my ex is the reason. So she's like, yeah, my ex is the one who's screwing it up. Not me. Right?
But that would be positive for Chungjin in that he is like,
yeah, it's good for Chungjin,
luring her
right?
away from being positive about Juwon, which feels like it's the wrong answer to that question, because the answer to that question should be everything that Juwon and Seokhyun have said to each other tonight is the reason I am not certain.
Yeah, if you're not yeah, I think she just like can't avoid or can't stop herself from like taking a
Chungjin
shot
under
at
the bus.
Chungjin. Yeah, but it is kind of being like, oh yeah, I would totally get back with Chungjin if he wasn't doing something. I don't know what she was. I don't know what she's thinking when she answers this question. Yeah, like I guess if you're Juwon, this is like not the right answer, right? I don't know. It's weird. It's such a goop. I guess that's why it's such a good question, because it's like it's kind of hard to think about what it is.
Yeah.
I think if I was Juwon, I would want her to say, "Oh, it's me. I'm the reason." Wait, I'm the reason that I'm not certain about one person.
I mean,
I guess that's not good either. For
any
Juwon.
of the answers aren't good for Juwon, right?
Like, yeah, it's kind of like a weird hypothetical where, like, if you're not certain about one person, and you have to answer it even if you are certain about one person. Yeah.
But again, like, this is the thing where this is where I was reading it the other way again, because Chungjin was asked if he's interested in just one person. And so, like, to me, it was, do you think your ex is just interested in you? It's basically what I thought this boiled down to.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But then her answer of my ex is the reason does not make sense.
Yeah, I don't think that
question at all.
I don't think it's how she was thinking about it.
I just find these questions, these two that he asked, just weird, and I don't quite.
They're weird, but they're
like
supposed
to take
they're
from them.
kind of like they're like brain teasers to like figure out what they mean though. It's like I think she's saying that like Chongjin is the reason that I'm not certain about one person, but it's almost like the reverse situation of how you would usually see this, where like somebody would be like kind of hooked on their ex, and then like in Hyeon's case, it's like it's she's the reason that she's not decided on one person because she's the one interested in somebody new. It's like kind of how I interpret it. But Yoojung is saying her ex is the reason she's not interested in one person because it's like more obvious she's into somebody new, but she still has feelings for her ex, so it's like her ex's fault. But it's also her fault at the same time, I guess. So it works either way. Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird.
I don't know. I enjoyed that question more than some of the others. What I wrote though is like I would be so confused if I was Chongjin right now. Like,
yes, 100%.
What did I do? I literally just have only been texting you this whole time. What happened? And also, I thought we were cool. You were texting me again. Yeah, because then Chongjin tells us like, oh, he thinks he must not have been clear enough. So he's interpreting it to be like, oh, it's his fault that she isn't 100% on him yet. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, it is a question that doesn't really tell anybody anything.
But you can spin it to tell you whatever you want.
Yeah, which still means it doesn't tell anyone anything.
Yeah, but everybody decides what it means. Yeah. Chongjin meant something to Chongjin. He was like, oh yeah, I guess she doesn't think I've been clear enough. Okay. All right. Dahae asks Dongjin, while here, have you ever lied about your true feelings? Get him is what everyone else.
This is the question I like.
Get him.
He admits, he's like, yes, I think so.
Yeah. And then they cut to a confession of him saying he's been lying about his feelings since day one.
Yep. He's been feeling things about her the whole time and has been treating her like garbage for her own good or some bullshit or whatever.
Honestly, Dongjin is like his storyline is like really similar to Gyumin's, right? Like this is like kind of what Gyumin did. I feel like Dongjin hasn't been as like, there was like a whole situation with Gyumin one time where I really felt like he went out of his way to be like, I'm going to go talk to the girl I'm interested in that's not you. And Dongjin I don't think has been.
No, I think the difference is Dahye is much more reasonable than Haeun is. Dahye knows what the show is and isn't gonna give him shit about participating in the show. I think if you want to take it even further, I don't think Gyumin like called Haeun out in front of people and talked shit about her the way Dongjin talked about Dahye last 2 episodes. If anything, Dongjin might be worse, and I don't like saying that.
Ooh. I think Gyumin's worse. I mean, Gyumin was like actively trying to make Haeun like feel bad. That's how my interpretation of watching season 2. I don't think Dongjin. Yeah, Dongjin did get to the point where
he said some shit to her face in front of people to make her feel bad because he was a jealous little petty boy.
I mean, I think in terms of the approach they took on the TV show, I think it's very, very similar. And I remember I hated on Gyumin a lot in season 2, like maybe not so much at the end because I ended up hating Haeun way more in the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe I feel like maybe I haven't been hating on Dongjin enough this season. Maybe I should.
I really do think that like
I don't know.
The response to either of them is colored a lot by how their exes respond to their behavior, and Dahye is so understanding and kind, and like she's like, yeah, this is the show where you're supposed to date people, so she's not going to get mad at him for dating people. Whereas Haeun was, I think, really unreasonable, and that kind of, she painted Gyumin as a villain, and that helps the show paint him as a villain, or everybody else feel that way about him. Whereas Dahye would never do that to Dongjin.
Yeah, that might have I could definitely see that affecting people. Yeah. I don't think that's what.
Further proof that Dahye is the best.
To me, I think it's just because I think Gyumin let us know like more early on, maybe that is what he was doing. But like Dongjin is kind of like we like kind of thought what he was doing, but like this is the first like big moment where he's like confessing to us like since day one.
Yeah.
But yeah, once he had this confession, I was like, oh yeah, this is like full blown Gyumin. Like yeah, I don't. If I had known this for sure from the beginning, I don't think would have ever been a Dongjin fan. At some point in my notes, I definitely write like, how does Dongjin is in a position in his life where he can be with Dahye if he wants to, and he's saying no.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so weird. I don't get it.
What happened? Things weren't that bad. I mean, like, come on, we can figure this out, right, Dongjin? Like,
yeah, I mean, especially if like the big problem was they could not be open about their relationship. It does not get more open than they have now put it on television.
Yeah, they still have not given us any juicier details than that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Then one last question. Dongjin asked Dahye, "When we were dating, how did you expect our relationship to end?" Cut to backstory. Here we go.
Yeah.
Apparently, Dongjin tells us he wanted to get married, and Dahye didn't. I assume this was like when she was an idol or something, right?
Yeah, I think he doesn't specifically say she didn't. She just like wouldn't give a clear answer, so he thought she didn't. Which, I mean, potato, probably. If you're not enthusiastic, yes, about getting married, then yeah, that's a no.
Yeah, I wish we knew the specifics. Like, is he like proposing to her, and she's like, "How about we wait?" Or is it like, I don't know, like how I can't like how is Dongjin dropping these hints that he wants to get married? Like I don't know. I don't trust that Dongjin is being clear about what he wants. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. Yeah. But then Dahye says that she thought they would get married. That is her response to this open-ended question of how did you expect a relationship at the end. So yeah, they're picking each other in the end, right? Like how I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
like if that is that where they broke up? Is that like what is Dongjin's reason? Give me the specifics.
Unclear.
Yeah. They get the super emotional make you cry music again. Sarah, did you cry?
Of course I cried.
Okay.
Kidding me?
No, they did not get me. I felt it later a little bit, but I definitely didn't cry. Right here, no.
Okay.
I wrote in my notes, like, how could they possibly have not been on the same page about this?
Yeah,
I just don't
feel
get
like
it.
everybody on this show is bad at communicating. Like,
It's, to me,
communication will solve your problems 9 times out of 10.
yeah. Based on what I've seen on this TV show, I just have to assume it's Dongjin's fault. I just have to. It's like,
Okay.
like, I mean, I don't know how far back this goes. Like maybe a younger Dahye was doing something unreasonable whenever Dongjin brought up marriage. I don't know, but it's just so hard to believe.
Yeah.
That Dongjin was like, "Hey, you want to get married?" And she was like, what? And then she like changed the subject. Or like, and then Dongjin just broke up with her before he ever got a solid answer to that question. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just so weird.
I don't know.
Some shit's gonna happen later. I brought it up in the beginning of the season. Like, is this real life? Are we watching real life with these two? Like, what percentage scripted is this? I don't know. It just something doesn't add up with this whole Dongjin and Dahye stuff. And maybe that's what's holding
they're
me
definitely
back from
not telling us something.
really getting emotionally invested. Again, they've been broken up for what, like 4 months?
Yeah.
It's not like this is a 13-year relationship and they left each other for a long time and they're coming back. It's like a little, I don't know. I just don't know about this. And it'll be, and if they do pick each other in the end, I think that is extra suspicious.
Oh,
which I feel like is what's going to happen.
Say more. What?
Just because it makes sense. Like, it just kind of feels like, they're like this is kind of what was expected to happen throughout the whole story. Like it was kind of like,
this is how they get the relationship out into the open. I don't think she's famous enough for it to be that big of a deal, though. Like, I don't know that her solo career is going so well that she is to be that work. Maybe I'm wrong, but like, nobody recognized her immediately.
Oh, you're
on
saying
the show.
I don't think it's for. I don't know. I don't know. There's just something off with it.
Okay.
And maybe it
or
was just,
is it
maybe it's just an extent of
try to boost her career or something too. Like, you know how I always feel about everyone on these shows.
I don't know why they're here. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know. Maybe it's just a little bit of like some casting person found out they recently broke up and was like, oh yeah, get him in here. And I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking about too much. We're gonna get late. Okay, so the last day later, Dongjin is gonna be like, "Oh, let me open up my package now." I was like, okay. I don't know. Seems a little weird, all of a sudden, but okay. I don't know. There's just something off about the the reality of the situation. I don't know. There's something we're missing, whether it be them holding back details of their past or the some amount of like, oh, we expected this to happen kind of thing. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't explain it, but it just feels weird. All right, that's the end of the truth game, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then immediately afterwards, while they're all still sitting there feeling very awkward and exposed, they're like, hey, it's time to text people.
Okay. You can do these real fast.
Minyoung and Sungjung text each other. Nobody cares. Haewon gets a text from Dongjin and Hwihyun. Hwihyun just texts okay. That is some low effort bullshit.
That's what I thought. But then Sarah, they cut to Hwihyun and he's in confessional. He's like, yeah, I'm hoping she'll have to come talk to me to understand what that meant. And I was like, okay, I don't hate that plan. That's okay.
I guess. Sure.
All right. That's kind of next level, actually.
It's a bad text, but okay. I guess it's effective.
Dongjin says to Haewon, let's keep going till the end. I wrote, okay,
yeah,
we'll see about
felt
that.
Weird.
We'll see about that, Dongjin. Okay.
Dahye doesn't get any texts because no one has taste. Dongjin gets one from Haewon. Hwihyun gets 0 texts. Changjin gets a text from Dahye. Juwon gets...
Wait, did Haewon say that she texted Dongjin to see how Hwihyun would react? Did that happen? I wrote that down.
I don't know that she texted him specifically to see how he would react, but she was watching Hwihyun to see his reaction.
Okay. All right. I don't know which ones you've said. I'm trying to... I have like some comments on these.
Okay.
Oh,
Uh,
Dahe tells Changjin, "I'd like to talk about us one last time." I
for
was
the
like,
first and last time. Like, 'cause they like
"Is that
talk
what she
all the
said?"
time, but have never talked about like if there's anything happening between them.
Yeah, they got interrupted
Yeah,
when they were getting there.
yeah. Then we got Juwon gets two texts, one from Jungin, who's just like, okay, I give up. It's a shame, but whatever. And then Yoojung, who
Yeah,
is
Yoojung
I don't know, her
says,
text feels
"Yeah, let
yeah,
me
go
read
for
this
it.
text. Looking back, the moments I had with you were the most fun and healing for me. Thank you so much, and I understand everything." Is this
This
a
feels like a
is this
we
a
done
is this a
text, right?
breakup text? Yeah, is this a breakup
It
text?
feels like it.
Yeah. Okay. We're doing it.
Yeah. Uh Juwon texts her back with very little effort. He's thanks for cooking with me today. It was nice and relaxing. He does not seem to feel he needs to do any sort of damage control after the shit that happened, which is baffling to me.
Yeah. Especially since he's the one that always clears things up immediately.
Yeah. Whereas Changjin says, I was leaning towards you. I've always been that way. So he's very clear about how
Yeah.
he's feeling.
I don't
right
think he
now.
I don't think he had to put the leaning part in there. Like he could have just been like, been I've always been going to choose you. Like
Oh yeah.
I
I
don't think he had
came
to
here to
say
get back together with you.
unless he meant like I was always leaning towards you at the beginning and now I'm certain.
I
Or
don't know.
like I don't know. It felt like it could have been phrased better, but better than
He's not
Juwon's
used
text.
to expressing feelings, okay? He's trying.
Okay.
Sokyun gets a text from Quante, and Quante gets a text from Sokyun. They're flirting.
Yeah, and then we get another scene where Juwon's like, "All right, I know I can give up on Seokyeon now because she texted Kwante."
Yeah.
All right, okay. I'm sure you won't try to go talk to her again and again.
And then they all get a text saying they're going on a date with their ex tomorrow, and Dongjin looks like he breaks down immediately. Just like, fuck, I do not want to do this.
Finally, let's go.
Yep,
Okay.
it's happening.
All right. There's some nighttime stuff though before when they get back to the house. There's a little bit
Yeah.
before the next day. I just wrote down that Chungjin waits for Yoojung for 2 hours.
Yeah, for whatever reason, it takes her a long time to get back home.
Yeah, or she was just in another room talking to people. I don't know, but
Yeah, unclear.
they finally do start talking though, and I just wrote in my notes like Yoojung is really out on Chongjin all of a sudden. Like what?
Yeah,
What
it
happened?
seems so. It's like she is annoyed about the Juwon situation and taking it out on Chongjin, is what it feels like.
Is that what it is? I don't know. Like
I
it
don't
almost
know.
feels like she's like simulating like her relationship with Chongjin in her head, and like sometimes the simulation goes poorly, and sometimes the simulation goes well, and then depending on how her mind chooses to simulate the situation is how she treats Chongjin that day. I don't know.
Yeah, depending on what she remembers, good times or bad
Like,
times. Yeah.
am I crazy? Like, Chongjin is doing nothing. Like, could he be doing more?
Yeah.
Sure. But he's doing nothing negative to. I feel like he's doing nothing to make her think
Make
that
things
he's
worse.
not
Yeah.
interested in her. Yeah,
Yeah.
like there's no reason it should have drastically swung this hard based on what Chongjin has done in the last few days, in my opinion.
Yeah, and he's even like, "What happened today that
Yeah.
you're like pissed at me?"
He's so confused.
Like, you texted me yesterday, and she's just like, "Oh, it's just because I went to that dumb island that reminded me of you. That's all." Like, okay.
Yeah. And then yeah. Chongjin does get like a little aggressive, but like about like talking about her and Juwon and how it makes him feel and stuff.
Mhm.
But like, yeah, this is like I would be so confused if I was Chongjin.
Yeah, she wants him to express his feelings, right? He should be able to express his, I feel bad about you and that guy.
Yeah, she doesn't actually get like it doesn't actually devolve into an argument, right? Because I guess this is what she wants him to be saying, right? Like she wants to know that he's been jealous every time he watched her and Juwon together, right? Like that's what she wants to hear from him.
Yeah,
So I feel like he kind of like to me he starts to be like a little too aggressive of like blaming her for doing things on the show, but then then they start having a good conversation after that because I guess that's what she wanted to hear. I don't know.
I guess it's him fighting for her a little bit or whatever, which
Yeah,
is
it's goofy.
what she's wanted.
Yeah. And then yeah, she basically explains everything she like told us in confessional about like, yeah, I went on this date with Quante and I had all these good memories of you, but then I started thinking about you and Ju-won, and then I was like, oh, you haven't changed since we were dating. So now I decided to hate you now. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just,
Yeah.
it's all over the place.
Yep.
Yeah. At this point, like, I feel like she keeps referencing, like, oh, I want you to change. Oh, I want you to change. But I felt like at this like point, I had no idea what she was talking about.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna talk later and get into like, oh, I want to know how you're feeling. Like, I want you to share your troubles with me or whatever. But
I mean, presumably this is an argument they had when they were together or something, you know, that it's easy for her to reference.
Yeah. It was just like
getting into
annoying to me
details,
to
so.
not know what they're
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about.
Should have cut to a confessional or something where she was like, he never expressed his feelings to me and I did not feel loved or something, you know?
Because, like, I mean, like, maybe Changjin has talked to her about this in the past, but I feel like Changjin might not even know what she's talking about exactly. Changjin even says, and I thought this was totally fair, aren't you trying to see me like that on purpose? Like, it seems like you're going out of your way to, like, come up with reasons to not like me.
Yep.
I was like, yeah, that's exactly how I
Feels
feel.
accurate.
And then I wrote, it's over, bro, just move on. You can do better than
But he
Yu
won't.
Jung.
Yeah, Dahe's right there.
Literally.
She's great.
Yeah. Can we get a Changjin and Dahe match? Can we do this?
It's not gonna happen. This boy is entirely focused on Yu Jung. He's not changing anything last minute.
I had some hope for a second.
I did too. When he first showed up and they were vibing, I was so happy.
I had some hope, like, in these 2 episodes. Maybe we might get there.
Oh, really? Oh, no. I stopped believing in that a while ago.
Because it makes so much sense. There's so many times where, like, Yu Jung has either, like, felt like she was committed to Ju-won or just, like, is so confusing that I'd be out on her if I was Changjin, that I'm just like, Changjin can do it. He can get there. It is a weird thing to change, like, so late in the show. It's not like Changjin and Dahe can't date after they don't match with anybody, right?
Yeah, I guess so. But I think, like, the vibes are not there for him. He's just never really been open to it, you know? Like, I don't think he sees her
You think
romantically.
Maybe.
Because he came here to get back with his ex, and he's been hyper focused on that the whole time.
At least he can't in the context of this show right now. It's just...
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, even if he did have some feelings for Dahe, though, if he ever wants a chance with Yu Jung, he has to pick her up at the end of the show.
Oh, yeah.
So...
Yeah.
And it's not... And I can see why this late in the show, you can't really change. Or you would have to be, like, very, very certain about Yu Jung's not picking you. Because if somehow, like, he picked Dahe and Yu Jung picked him, he'd be like, no, what have I done?
Yeah.
All right, next day. There might have been other stuff, but I didn't write it down.
Oh, wait, no, there is one more thing, though, that happens with Yu Jung, is that she, like, it's really late, and she wants to talk to Ju-won, but she thinks he's asleep, and then he just shows up at her house. And then she's like, magically, just everything's fine, because he does shit like this, and then she's just like, oh, yes, Ju-won, my soulmate.
I feel like when she tells Ju-won about this later, I feel like even Ju-won is like, oh, okay. Like, he's like, oh, I didn't, like, I don't know if that should really matter, but okay, I'm glad you like that.
Well, yeah, he showed up to reinforce his feelings or whatever, and that's all she wanted. And like, for her, it was like almost fate, because she was thinking about him, and then he just showed up.
But also, who came to talk to her first? Actually, he might have actually made it there first, but he didn't stick around to wait there.
Yeah. That's pretty much what happened.
Also, doesn't the same thing happen maybe the next night, and she has the same reaction, like, oh, I'm so glad he came and talked to me, but it was like, he literally went to talk to Sokyun before you. Like, let's be clear about what happened.
But that doesn't line up with the fairy tale she's telling herself about this, you know?
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh, he even has the audacity to say to this woman that being with her on this show was the happiest he's been in his life. Like, he's not spending this whole time trying to get back with his ex.
He says that bullshit. He says that to her.
Yes, he says that to you.
At some point,
full of shit.
There's so many Yu Jung Ju-won interactions in these 2 episodes. At some point, I just start writing whatever puke in my notes. Like, I'm just done. Like, if they're happy together, it's fine. I don't know. I'm not rooting for, like, either of them, and, like, we shouldn't be, right? Like, I feel like we shouldn't be rooting for them. So I'm just really not into watching them.
Yeah.
I didn't 2x through it, but I do kind of, like, I don't want to. It gets to the point where I don't want to take notes on it. I don't want to do extra work for their segments.
I think they would be fine if they met outside the context of hanging out with their exes, if they just like met naturally, it would be fine. But like all this bullshit lying he's doing to like convince her.
I mean, he would like if they happened to meet at the same time that the show was airing, but like Sakyun wasn't there, he would still be thinking about Sakyun. It's just it wouldn't be as like in your face as it is on the show, right?
Yeah, well, he might if he wasn't like. I think in that case he wouldn't be actively pursuing Sakyun to get back together again.
I mean,
he might be
he was
hung
blocked.
Up with feelings on
he was
her,
blocked
but...
on all social medias. I don't know what he was trying.
Well, yeah. So he might just be like, "That's it. Like, I can't get a hold of her. She'll never speak to me again. Whatever," and might actually move on.
I mean, at the time he came on the show, he just tells us, "I came here to get back with you." So I don't think he was over her. Yeah, but if you're talking about like hypothetically in the future, if they met and their exes weren't involved, yeah, I guess it could work out.
And that saying that I always say, they say, which is the best way to get over your exes, get under somebody new. Like,
okay,
I
Sarah,
think.
Tell me, have you ever actually done that? You like to bring that shit up all the time. Come on,
I do. Tell like to bring that shit up.
Have you ever done that?
No. There's actually I was gonna bring this up later when Dahae talks about Jeongjin and how like nothing's happening between them, but in a way he made her realize she's gonna be okay. Like I've had that happen where I've been like really upset about a breakup, and then I met someone that nothing was gonna happen with, but I was able to connect with them in a way where I'm like, oh right, I am capable of connecting to other people in this way.
But you didn't have to get under
and that helped a lot. No, I did not have to get under that. But that's just the saying, okay?
Yeah. It's kind of gross, but okay. The reality of what Dahae and what you're talking about seems reasonable.
Yeah, but do you have a snappy turn of phrase for that?
I don't think if you just go smash somebody, you're gonna get over your ex that fast.
Okay, I mean that is what the phrase means, but it's not limited to exclusively smashing.
Okay.
I don't have.
It's almost like nothing to do with
for
smashing,
the more
actually.
nuanced explanation. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's important that the listeners know what you mean when you say that. Because I was like, this is not even a thing that you actually subscribe to. In the actual.
I mean, it might work for other people, and I'm not gonna, shame them for their ways of getting over people.
All right, it's not.
You do what
I just want to say it's not my advice. So I'm just gonna say that.
I think moving on helps you move on. This may be a different way to say it.
Yeah.
See, that's not snappy, and it doesn't work.
I know it's genius. Just move on, and you'll move on.
Anyway, moving on. The next day.
All right, it's X date day. God, there's so much. Oh, we get like a couple of them before episode 19.
Yeah.
Oh, but wait, Quante wrote Sakyun a book report and left it in her room.
Except it's actually just a note about his feelings and not about a book. Yeah. So like,
I thought it was gonna be a book report, but it wasn't.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He makes his feelings clear. We know what Quante's doing.
Yeah. Good job, Quante.
And then we have a Jong-un and Quante date. And I wrote whatever, and I 2x through that date. Do we have to talk about it?
Yeah.
Okay, no, we're good.
They were pleasant, and that's it.
All right. Well, I like them both, but they have no story in the show together.
Nothing happened. Yeah.
K1 and Hui-hyun. She likes his driving, Sarah.
That's true. She's never been in a car with him before.
Yeah, he was too poor to drive a car before. I guess he didn't have one.
I guess. Well, I mean, they were also in the city all the time and just taking the bus, probably.
They just took public transportation. Yeah. They also go climbing on Mount Orum, which I believe Dongjin and Jong-un did or something.
Well, okay, so Orums, I looked this up.
Oh, there's two different ones?
Are
the same thing?
They're a type of hill. It's a small defunct volcano. And I think they only exist on Jeju, at least under that name. Oh, there you go. They got a bunch of them.
Yeah, it did look like, this time, the way they got to the top, it did look like it was like a crater, like a volcano in the middle, yeah. I wrote down, is Hyeon laughing at everything he's saying?
I think so, yeah.
Same as Dongjin?
Yep.
Okay. Maybe this is what she does.
Yeah, probably.
We can't tell who's actually funny because she just laughs at everybody.
Probably.
Well, she laughs at the people she likes. That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think they do get some good date music, so that's supposed to mean something.
Maybe, yeah.
They're like taking photos and it's picturesque, and they, get the nice swell of like, oh, isn't this romantic?
Yeah, we'll have to discuss. We have to discuss our predictions at the end of this, but yeah, I think K1 is very interesting and could go either way.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, they get food.
Hmm.
K1 admits his heart fluttered with Seokhyun yesterday. Don't know why he had to do that, but okay.
Yep, yep.
This man's too honest. He's too honest.
He is bad at talking about things.
I mean, it's honest, but yeah, he didn't have to say that.
But he's also not like giving her the context of like,
yeah,
but it wasn't a date that was gonna go anywhere ever. Like that's the important thing to tell her about the date.
Yeah. Later in the confessional, he's like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But yeah, there's definitely a way to like say like, yeah, Seokhyun is very charming and like I always have good dates with her, but I could tell she wasn't into me
and honestly, she should be like, we just talked about you a lot, and I wondered what you were doing on your date, and I'm obsessed with you. Yeah. But he doesn't say any of that.
I don't know if Weehan is obsessed with you.
Whatever. Something to the degree of, I was thinking about you while I was on this date with this whole other woman.
Yeah.
Feel special.
And then they get into like what the promise was.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah. They don't really fight about it. It was just like, oh, that's not what I meant.
Yeah, but she gets sad, and then she's like thinking she has the whole wrong idea about them. I think it's like she's starting to doubt this whole thing again. Like the slightest thing will send her spiraling about this.
Because he didn't promise to not have a good time, and then he had an okay time.
Yeah.
Okay. Then they go to a cafe. Weehan says he's sure about his mind.
Yes.
Meaning K1,
and he's
right?
clear that it's not Seokhyun. I think he's clear about that, yeah. But she says she is still torn.
Yeah. Because she tells him if he had texted her one day earlier, things would have been a lot different. That's rough.
That is rough.
Yeah. I actually really like these two together. This is why I wrote this in my notes. Like, I feel like every time we see them have a misunderstanding, like they communicate and they talk about it, and they don't really like, it's not like a hostile argument.
Yeah.
Ever.
I agree.
And they've gotten emotional about stuff, and they have like had things that they had to talk through, but then they've talked through them, and it's just like,
and then it's reasonable. Yeah.
And especially like Huihyun has not had an easy go on this show, and he's like he's never taken it out on her. In at least I can't remember it. I think you had some things to say about
he was like, mean to her once. He was pretty mean to her that one time.
What time?
They were back in Seoul, and they had like kind of a fight, and he was just like, "You're so unattractive right now," and they were, I don't know.
Yeah,
even he did hurt her feelings, and like his waffling, even just like not being clear about like when he came in, being like, "Sorry, I lied about why I broke up with you. I never stopped loving you. I want to get back with you," and then like behaved counterintuitively in the house. That did hurt her a lot.
Yeah,
like, he didn't do that on purpose, but it did cause harm.
It's different than just like what we often see in these shows, like actively getting into arguments where you're trying to just argue that the other person has been terrible.
Yeah.
That's what we usually get. And I just think Huihyun took an approach to the show that didn't line up with K1's expectations, I guess, is more of what happened.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, he did kind of set her expectations in that pre-show meeting.
Yeah, Huihyun is like a bit of a mystery, but like he hasn't really done anything that like made me want to root against him, I would say.
Okay. He's just been thoughtless a couple times, I think, and that really comes from just how young he is, I think, is his biggest problem.
I think there is evidence to show that these two could get back together and make it work. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm actually rooting for them to pick each other.
Yeah, and like the more I see them together like this, the less authentic her and Dongjin feel at all.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, because she doesn't. Yeah, I mean, like I still like her and Dongjin are vibing. I don't really have anything to grab onto with it other than they just like both think each other attractive and they have a good time together, which is like, it's fine. It's something to start a relationship, but like it actually feels like there's something here with her and Huihyun, and they actually, could get through tough times in life as long as Huihyun doesn't just dump her because he sucks again in the future.
Yeah.
But Huihyun's got to just keep climbing, and he won't hit the hopefully he
If he
won't
never
hit
hits
rock
another rough
bottom.
patch in life, he will.
He just can't hit
behave.
rock
Yeah, okay.
bottom again. You know, he was so low.
What's up with these guys on this show? They have to just like open up and express their difficulties to their girlfriends, and then things will be fine.
It's kind of like it's not even like a Korean culture thing, but I feel like it's like expectations of men culture kind of thing, where they feel like they need to
Internalize
like handle
everything.
their burdens by
Yeah.
themselves, and also they like the pressure, like they feel pressure to like be the provider in the relationship or whatever. So those two things,
that patriarchy keeping them down, you know? It sucks.
I guess. All right. Weehan cries, right? Because
there's a lot of crying, yeah.
He feels like he can tell that she's picking Dongjin. That was the vibe I got. But then she said she's not 100% sure yet.
Right.
She's basically letting him know, like, oh, it's definitely not over. But I mean, I feel the way Huiyin feels, like the way she's talking, it feels like she's picking Dongjin. And it's not until like after this date where I'm like, I guess maybe she's not. I don't know what's going on.
Okay. I mean, just given the fact, like, he asks her how much she likes Dongjin, and she says she's not really sure. And I'm like, oh, things are totally open for her to get back with Huiyin. Like, you know, if she is able to, after that many, like, successful looking dates and being cute together, able to say she's not sure about how she feels about this new guy, then, yeah, I think things are wide open.
I guess, but I guess Huiyin's just taking it as, like, she's not saying it, but I can tell.
Yeah.
But maybe her words are closer to the truth, where it's like, oh no, I actually haven't chosen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then this is the first time we get the text, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's your ex date is over. Choose someone other than your ex for a secret date. Send us the name of the date you want. If both parties choose each other, they'll be matched up. And these two are both devastated when they get this text.
Especially Haewon. Haewon seems
yeah,
stunned and disappointed that this date is over.
Yeah.
All of a sudden. I feel like it wasn't like, I thought it was like kind of coming to an end. And then when it was over, Haewon was like, no.
Yeah.
So what did they do in season 2? I'm trying to remember. So
I think they did the same thing.
No, there was definitely something different where like
maybe it was a day of secret dates.
There was like a
you
whole
could
day.
Go and and it wasn't just dates. You could meet up with that was this show.
It was like
meet up with people.
It was like you
of your
could.
Same gender?
I believe you could go talk to everybody that you wanted to.
Yeah, you didn't have to match, and you could just make an appointment with anybody in the house.
Yeah. It was kind of it was kind of nuts actually. But they're making them have to match here.
Yes.
Which is interesting, I guess. I mean, they've already done the X part on this day, so they made all the X's talk, and then they're only it's probably worth its production, like only if they match. But now but these are specifically secret dates though, so I don't know. So Juwon is gonna match with Yujong, and Chongjin is gonna match with Dahye,
right?
For this, but is it only because it's secret, or is it because something has changed? Like, because they didn't choose to match before. And I really think Chongjin, I think Chongjin and Yujong, we didn't get to them yet, but I feel like they just tell each other who they texted. Because Yujong asked him Yujong asked him like, so why did you pick Dahye?
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you tank this one? Kind of question. And I don't know. Like,
I mean, that is a good question. Why do they not tank this? I guess because it's
for Juwon, it's a secret. He knows this one's gonna be a secret, so I kind of get. But Chongjin doesn't tank it, and he doesn't keep it a secret.
I think he does say, like, when she asks why he picked her, he says that he's got to, like, go close things up with Dahye, basically. Like, because they've never had their talk of, like, if there are any actual feelings involved between them. And he's got to go be like, no, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, he could do that and not go on a date with her, though. But, you know what I mean? They could just talk back at the house.
Yeah. Well, every time they tried to do that, they got interrupted.
That's true.
So at least this will, not get interrupted.
Yeah.
Also, it's an excuse to go out and have a meal. I can't say that that's not influencing some people.
Yeah, so many people, I guess these were like late night meals. But so many people were like, oh, did you have dinner on your first date? And they're like, yeah. And then they just have more food with the second date.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Huihyun and K1, they both start to cry. And then Huihyun tells us he wished he didn't cry so that she wouldn't feel guilty, but he couldn't stop himself.
Yeah, that's some bullshit. Let her know how you feel.
Oh, I mean, we praised Dahye for this. It's a little bit different because it's the person that he's like trying to be with, as opposed to like the person that's trying to get with your ex. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it worked. Like I wrote down like it's good for him that she saw this.
Yeah. Give her all the information she needs to make this decision.
It's just that it's that same mindset of like he hates that he's burdening her when
Yeah.
she like she's gonna pick Dongjin and feel more burdened. Like he thinks she's picking Dongjin either way. So it's like, why do I have to make her feel? Why do I have to make her feel bad about it? I guess is what he's thinking. Just pick each other. We can do this, right, Sarah? Come on, come on.
Yeah. I think we might get there.
We can do it. Yeah, I think my predictions at the end of this are just gonna be largely what I want to happen.
What you want, yeah.
So why not? We're doing it, right? We're gonna make this happen. Yeah. Okay. All right, that was the end of episode 18.
Yes.
All right, let's keep moving. 1 day left until the final decision. We got more dates.
Yes. Okay, let's get through this Songjung Minyoung date real fast. They don't show them fighting. They ice skate together, but because they're both good at skating, it's not cute. They're just racing each other.
Oh, come on. Get out of here. That's
what? There's no like...
What? They were great. That was
holding
awesome.
hands or whatever.
No, they were great. Okay, well, I watched it at 2x, and they were going fast.
Yeah. That's cool, but like it did not have any romantic vibes.
No,
okay,
to me,
that triggers your okay.
To me, the competitiveness between them is romantic. Like they're both competitive people, and they had a good time racing each other. And she beat him like straight up, and she's like, oh, you must have taken it easy on me. He's like, no, you beat me, like for sure. I was trying, believe me.
Okay, that might be true. That doesn't resonate with me as cute, but as you say it, okay, I get that. That's some people's thing. And then they had a meal.
A 2x.
Yeah, it's whatever.
2x. They're gonna pick each other. What else they gonna do? Okay.
When they get the text for the secret date, she chooses Juwon and he chooses Haewon. Obviously, throwaway picks. They're not worried about secret dates. They're picking each other.
Yeah. Okay. They didn't have the same throwaway picks, which was interesting. They switched up their throwaway picks.
Yeah.
All right, back at the house, Changjin goes to Yujong to discuss matching outfits for their date. Okay.
Yes. He's very much just like, we need to match. I would like that, please.
Meanwhile, Dongjin and Dahae have matched their outfits by accident.
Yeah. And for a minute, I thought he was going to go home and change. Like
That's what he thought.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Changjin and Yujong.
Yeah. When this date starts, the host called Changjin cold and slow. And I'm like, that feels mean. I don't know that this is true.
I mean, that's how how he is depicted according to Yujong's perspective, right?
I guess.
Like he's
does she think he's dumb?
I mean, I think Dahae has said Changjin is dumb, but in like kind of like a loving way.
Okay.
And then it's just like, this whole kind of interaction. I don't know if it's this scene or it's later, but it's like Yujong is like really. It's almost like doesn't matter what Changjin does, but like she really hates like the way his voice sounds or like the way the tone of his voice or something, and she's gonna nag him about it a lot.
Yeah. It feels like when they were deciding to wear matching clothes, it felt like she was ready to be cute and whatever. But like the moment they get in the car, it feels awkward and like she's just annoyed with him the whole time.
Yeah, this is what I wrote down. Yujong wouldn't give him the time of day. If he asked her right now. Yujong says she doesn't want to change him, but she keeps being critical of him regardless.
Yeah.
Okay. She doesn't like the way he talks, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like even at this point, like before we get to the end of this episode, but like I wrote down, like, does she actually hate him, or is she just trying to like convince herself that she hates him? Like, what's happening right now? What did this man do? What did this man do? What?
He just wasn't like cutesy and romantic enough. Okay. And so I think maybe like they're incompatible on that level, but like she still cares about him. And so maybe a big part of this is her trying to distance herself from him and just be like, oh yeah, let me really hone in on the things I don't like about him and focus on that. So that way I won't be swayed back to him again.
Also, being mean to people is the way you express love. We've learned that.
I hate that, but okay. It does feel very
really that's what's happening. Okay. They go walking in a field.
Yes. They take pictures of each other.
Changjin swapped out his phone case because he had that like phone case that he made
that he
with
made with Dahe,
Dahe or
yeah, on
something.
one of their dates.
Maybe he could have done that earlier, right?
I mean, at
Done
least he did it for the
strategically.
date, you
He
know?
did it for the date with her, yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, okay. They get food at some
At a
place.
restaurant they've been to before
Yeah.
together when they came during
Okay.
their
Okay, a
relationship.
TV show. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then they kind of get to a point about talking about stuff, finally. And
Yeah.
this is where I get like, she wants him to share his feelings with her. And he says
Mm-hmm.
he will if she promises it won't burden her. And I was like,
Yes.
this is all it's going to take to get back together? This is nothing. Come on. We can do this.
I guess, but like she seems so miserable with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm at the point with Yujon where I can't trust anything she says because
Yeah.
it contradicts herself, and she doesn't seem to stick to whatever she the words she say to express her feelings in the moment don't seem to stick very long. So
Yeah,
I'm just like,
yeah.
I don't know. We'll just see what she picks in the end. Yeah, but then the date ends abruptly.
Yeah.
And then Chongjin is like, I'll come talk to you later tonight after our secret dates. And
Right.
Seems happy that he said that, right?
Yeah.
I'm not crazy.
It is a weird turn, yeah.
Okay. So I don't know what's happening here.
We'll never know.
But then is she also annoyed that he picked Dahe? This is and she's gonna be like, so why'd you pick Dahe? It's like, because I think they just tell each other who they picked.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
literally picked Juwon. Back off.
And again, different rules for her and him. That's how she lives.
Okay.
I mean, like probably from her perspective, it's like he's trying to get back with me and win me back. He should behave as though no one else exists. I'm not trying to get back with him, so I don't have to do that.
Lovely. Okay.
Yeah, it's not great.
Sakura and Juwon date. Let's move on.
They are also kind of matching, right?
Did they mention it specifically? I don't know.
They didn't mention it, but they looked like they were.
They didn't call it
to
out.
Me. Yeah.
Honestly, sometimes like people say they're matching, and I'm like, "Are you?" So I don't really think about if they're matching or not unless they tell me that they're matching.
Okay.
Do you tell me if you're matching? They kind of gaze into each other's eyes in the car a little bit.
Oh yeah, she just looks at him like so sweetly while he's driving. I'm just like, fire. Dang.
Yeah. They both admit they've been jealous of people liking the other person on the show. All right.
Yes, but also a little proud that, other people have liked their ex.
That's what Juwon has said before, especially when Seokhyun had 3 dates in one day and he had to talk to all the guys.
Yeah.
He was like, that made me so proud to be your ex-boyfriend.
Well, Seokhyun's like, yeah, the prettiest girl liked you. I was pretty proud about that.
Oh, is that what she said after that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Is that the consensus that Yujong is the prettiest girl?
I guess
that is what they've been saying. Okay. All right. They go for a walk on the beach and they make a hole in the ground shaped like a heart, and they take a video of themselves with the camera in the hole.
This is like the couple footage we got at the end of their like X reveal.
Yeah.
Is this how they did it last season? I feel like it's not. Like when they made them go on their X dates, I don't think they also filmed the packages for the beginning of the season.
Oh, that's a good question. Or we just like I remember specifically like Wanbin and Jisoo had like this their like breakup package had them like dating in like the woods, and I don't remember them going on a date. I don't think they went to the
yeah, you're right.
Unless they did, but then they didn't show it in the show or something. But I don't know. That's a good question.
Maybe it's not normal, but they just thought this was so fucking cute that they're like, oh, let's just use this. We don't have to film anything else.
Yeah, we just speculated last season that they must have just like forced them to go on these awkward like pretend you're still a couple moments. Yeah.
The worst.
Regardless, though, this is a very couple activity to be doing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They're getting the good date music. They're looking cute as fuck. To be fair, on a certain point, it is Seokhyun, and if Seokhyun's on a date, she's gonna have a good time. But I don't know, this looks like a real good date between the two of them.
But I'm just saying, this is far more coupley than like Juwon and Yujong have ever looked on their dates, right? Am I crazy to say that?
To be fair, like, he has a more substantial romantic history with Seokhyun than, like, Yujong, so...
Yeah, but if he was serious about Yujong,
it makes more sense that
they're... I don't know. It's just kind of...
Well, he's got to ramp up to this with someone, like maybe if he dated
I'm
Yu
just
Jung
saying
as
this
long as
is,
he had dated Sokyun, like he would be this fucking cute with her. I don't know.
but I'm just saying if he was leaning towards picking Yu Jung, would he be dating Seokhyun like this in this moment? That's all I'm trying to get at.
Well, I mean, I think we know he's not leaning towards her.
Okay, that's
So
it. I'm just saying.
it's
Okay.
easy.
I mean, we don't know, but
Oh, we
yeah,
totally
I'm
know.
just laying more evidence down for why
Okay,
I'm
okay,
gonna
okay.
say that Juwon's gonna pick Seokhyun in the end.
Yeah.
Um. Okay, they go get food.
As much as I've been annoyed at their fighting and their pettiness the entire time, they fucking turn it around in here and they just talk about things like adults. And I
Yeah.
was like, where was this vibe the whole fucking time?
Yep.
It's impressive. They just work everything out, it seems.
Yep.
And they disagree with each other, but don't get heated about it. And they're
Yep.
just
I
like
wrote that
both
down.
taking responsibility for things. And I'm just like, when did you guys grow up? What the fuck happened?
Yeah. I don't know. Is Juwon just trying to say that he's going to pick her? Like there are times where he's like he brings up like seeing each other after the show is over, and then he's really like harping back to when he was like, I came on the show. I told you back in the beginning, I came on the show to get back together with you. Remember? Like I don't know. Are these hints that he's just like, yeah, I'm picking you?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, they do have a little bit of a back and forth kind of arguing of like who said what while on the show, and I feel like Juwon is like making it seem like he always wanted to get back together.
Yeah,
like clearly the whole time I wanted to get back together. What are you talking about?
Well, do you believe that that's not true? Like, do you believe?
No, but he's saying it to her,
authentic.
But he's saying it to her like obviously I've been wanting to get back together with you the whole time.
Oh well, yeah. That's bullshit. From her perspective, there's no way she would know that. Yeah.
I couldn't tell if he was saying it because he's actually getting back together, or he's just trying to be like, well, if we don't get back together, it's your fault because I wanted to get back together the whole time. I don't know, but I don't know how you would say that and not pick her. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Eventually, Seokhyun starts to cry. I was confused what triggered this, but basically every time anybody cries on these X dates, it's like they're either just like thinking about the memories, or it's like this realization that like this could be their last date and or like conversation with their ex.
Right.
So everybody just at some point starts to cry on these X dates.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah. I really want Juwon to pick Seokhyun, but then Seokhyun not to pick Juwon. That's what I want to happen.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, that would be great. And I think there's a chance. I think there's a decent chance that might happen, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I think so too.
And then they, date's over. Production says that's enough.
They are pretty upset about it.
And then Juwon tells us that he regrets not saying more.
Mm-hmm.
And then he starts tearing up while he's driving alone to his next date. Okay. All right.
I think she does tell him during this as she's leaving, like she's still not sure about him. Or maybe that was a confessional note. I don't remember now.
Yeah. I think Seokhyun is unclear as well. Probably one of the harder people to guess.
Yeah.
All right, Dahye and Dongjin.
The people who planned this date, like, what the fuck were they thinking? This was mean.
The photo shoot thing? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I feel like Dahye just wants to have a nice, fun time, reminisce about the past, maybe kind of forget that they're never going to see each other again or whatever. But they're like, let's make it a serious thing and not just a fun time you could have. Like, it's
not. Yeah, it's serious for them. Yeah, I mean, the production knows what they're doing. Yeah, I mean, for a normal two people that are just dating, this would be just a fun thing to do. But
yeah.
But
like, I mean, specifically, even for an X date, I think with any of them, it would be. It is.
Oh yeah, true.
It's not like it should just be a fun activity. They get to go together, instead of this weird set photo shoot thing.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah. Dongjin did wear a knitted sweater on this date and
apparently this is significant
because Dahye always wanted him to wear knitted sweaters and he wouldn't wear them in the past. So Dongjin,
even if she like bought them for him. So
Dongjin's doing some things.
Yeah.
And then Dongjin says it only took 30 seconds to feel like they were dating again when they're like in the car.
Yep.
All right. This is what he's been trying to avoid this whole time.
Yep.
This terrible, terrible feeling of feeling like you're in a relationship with Dahye.
Mm-hmm. Feeling comfortable and, dare I say, happy a little bit there.
Yes, they're at the photo shoot, and Dahe's getting ready. She starts to cry because of this, like, oh, this is our last moments together kind of cry.
And also, like, I guess the thing with the photo shoot is also like they didn't have pictures like of them together, unless I guess they probably have selfies, but like of like taken by someone else just because of like idol bullshit, right? Like they can't just be like, "Would you take our picture in front of this thing on the street?" And then they got just got in that habit. So like this feels all too significant for them because it's their first time getting photos taken together like this, and it's
Yeah.
I think overwhelming her as well.
Yeah, so they start taking the photos, and then Dahe starts to cry while the photos are being taken. I think Dahe would have made it through because Dahe is a freaking professional.
Yeah. But Dongjin sort of tears up. I do love the photographer. Like begs them so many times, just like, please look brighter. Like pretend you're happy.
To Dongjin, I think specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dahe is like really good at photo shoots. Seems like.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dongjin basically has to stop the photo shoot because he's like really tearing up.
Mm-hmm.
He also kind of frames it as like, oh, this is our final date tears. Like it felt by like doing this activity was like our last farewell is what he says in his confessional. I don't know. It's got to be more of the stuff that you were saying where it's like I can't believe we're actually getting pictures together kind of feeling.
I think it's a combination of all the things, you know. Like there are a lot of reasons to cry.
It feels weird to me to be like, oh, this feels like a conclusion moment to our dating each other. I don't know.
Well, I think he
feels like the start.
Likened it to like graduation. Like you go get pictures for events. Like
okay.
Like graduation is like you're finishing a thing and leaving it behind. So I think
is that what he said?
The connection he was making. Yeah.
Okay. The hosts are crying again. Sarah, are you crying?
Oh, crying so much. And
really? Okay.
Because like I watched this yesterday, I started getting sick yesterday. I have this sinus thing going on, and then I start crying on top of that. My nose has not hurt so much in a long time. It was rough.
Wow, okay. I think I was feeling it here, yeah, but definitely didn't cry.
Okay.
I think this is where it was. Was there more later? I don't know. There was a lot of hosts.
There's a lot of
hosts crying to Dongjin and Dahe's storyline.
Yeah. So then they gotta wait around for the photos to get, I don't know, touched up a little bit and printed or whatever. And then he like goes out to his car and gets something.
Explain
and
this
get
to
this
me.
whole tale. So as we know, Dongjin got good at photography to take pictures of Dahe for her work, right? Apparently he had gotten into film photography along the way there and had only ever used this film camera to take pictures of her and maybe some landscapes or some bullshit. I don't know. And so he brought this film camera with intending to take it on dates and be like, okay, well, I'll take pictures of you. It'll be cute, like with other women, but never actually took it to any of the dates. But he actually brought it to this date and then brings it out and takes pictures of her. And like, this is significant to him. Like, what is this bullshit he says? He's like
capturing the heart or something.
Yeah, taking a picture of someone on film is like capturing them in his heart. And so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, how's this man not picking Dahe? What?
I don't know.
Again, it just maybe this was like maybe it was just like this is what was going to happen if they ever had to spend time together, and Dongjin just avoided it the whole time. But it's just
if it would be this easy,
so all of a sudden, yeah.
Like why bother with all the effort of like stopping it from happening, or also just why come on the show? Like if you know it's going to be this easy to fall back for her, you shouldn't have agreed to be on the show if that's not what you want to happen.
That's you know? Yeah. It's like if you love her so much that spending 30 seconds with her makes you want to be with her. I'm going to say that that's probably a good thing, and maybe you want that in your life.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'd think.
And it's I don't think he's dodging any bullets from what we've seen from what Dahe is bringing to the table in a relationship.
She's easily like the best person we've ever seen on one of these shows, right? Yeah. Like she is so kind and
I was thinking about that. You know how I matched like Wonbin and Yujong like across seasons? Yeah, what would be like the super couple if you had to choose like one guy and one girl? It's definitely Dahe. It's definitely Dahe.
Yeah, but who deserves Dahe?
How about let me throw out a name. I'm trying to remember the name right now. Hold on.
Okay.
What about the art guy from Heart Signal 4?
Oh, I did like him.
What was his name? I forget his name.
Something like with a Y, right? I mean, I got notes somewhere that has everybody's names in them, right? Nope, it's Hushin. There's not a Y in there at all.
Hushin.
Hushin.
What about Hushin and
Hushin
Dahe?
was good.
That might be our dream team. What do you think?
That might be pretty good.
Hushin was pretty good.
I can't argue with that. I do not remember how old he was.
He was pretty old. I think he'd be older than Dahe.
He was like, okay.
He was at he might have been 31. She's 31, right?
Yeah, perfect. There we go.
I think he was 31, but he would be. Their filming was before this, right? So he's probably
whatever. That's close enough. It works. Yeah. Let's go. I'm all about it.
Yeah. Do we get any comments this week about cross season?
No, nobody. Nobody gave us our.
All right, I'm still my brain's still racing. I'm trying to.
I mean, for a minute there, I was like, "How dare you say anyone deserves to date her?" Now I'm like, "No, yeah, I'd like Hushin with her. That'd be cool."
Yeah, why not? I don't know if Hushin's with the young college girl from that season.
Yeah,
that was
unclear
sure by the end of everything, but okay.
They were all vague. Yeah.
Literally, no one on this planet deserves her, according to Sarah.
Literally, no one I've seen on a dating show.
I don't deserve her.
How about that?
Nobody deserves her.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And then at some point when they're about to leave the photo place, Dahe's like late to come into the car, so Dongjin's like waiting there, and he's just like tearing up alone in the car.
Yeah, just crying in the car all by his lonesome. Yep.
And then they go get food, and they rehash their emotions without attacking each other this time, though. There they go.
Yeah, it's pretty good. There
they go. Come on, Dongjin.
Although she says like he used to tell her she was a bad person or something. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what happened? There's so much like
there's so much we don't know about these
negative they could have painted them more negatively, I think, and we're not getting it.
Yeah. You just talk about him being like kind of cold and not expressing his emotions.
That I believe.
Similar to like
100%
Yu Jung's problem with Chongjin, but But yeah, he does seem like he might not express it much.
But she's not actively telling him to change, right? Like she still planned on like she's still saying I like planned on marrying you still. Like it's not the same narrative, I don't think.
Yeah. I think she just kind of referenced like she was feeling that like and feeling bad about it, but would like bottle it up a lot, I think. So like maybe this is part of why they're of the opinion they couldn't get back together again. Like because he's this way, it bothered her and she like put up with it for so long and it would just be the same again because nobody's asking anybody to change. I don't know. Hard to tell.
Maybe.
But
maybe, yeah. I don't know. I wish I knew more. Yep. So their date gets ended abruptly. Let's go. And Dahe's gonna ask for one final hug. The last request.
And this guy can't even give her a decent hug. What is this?
Oh, you actually this is what's weird though. Like I still think he's going to pick her, right? But like what is going
give her a hug. Give her a good hug.
Moment to moment, I don't know like where Dongjin's head at. Like if he was picking K1, I get this. Like he decides to like, kind of give her like a one arm hug. It's also like it is like a weird moment where like she hugs him, but like she instantly starts like crying in his shoulder.
Yeah.
And it's like if he is not going to pick her and he does want to move on, like I kind of get the like, okay, you don't want to give like a super comforting hug that makes it feel like it's something more than it is. I kind of get that.
I don't think she's gonna be like convinced that things are gonna change because of a hug,
Crazier things have happened, so I'll say that.
Except Dahe is reasonable as fuck. And I think she just really needed to be comforted right now, and he could have just given her a better hug instead of like this awkward one-handed head pat situation while she cried her eyes out on his shoulder.
I just assume he's like still undecided, and it's like another one of these like I don't want to do too much if I am not gonna pick them, or I don't know.
Well, he describes it in confessional as being too hard for him to hug her with his whole heart.
Yeah,
because he is feeling some feelings.
But also, if he was gonna pick K1 and he was just like, sorry, I can't do a final hug, I would have been like, okay.
I mean,
respect. It's whatever. He doesn't have to.
Well,
so he did at least he did a
like he is valid and like he could say no, but then just say no. Don't do this like half-hearted weird like
Okay,
pick a
interesting.
lane, dude, you know?
I thought it was fine. I think it's an awkward moment. It's also like they're in a restaurant. I don't know how many people are in this restaurant with them, but
There's no one
you
else in
assume
this
there's
restaurant.
no way, yeah. But they're still on camera. There's
There's
people there.
crew.
I
That's
think
true.
like Dahe's so wrapped up in the emotions of the moment that she's ignoring the like physical contact stuff. But I imagine Dongjin was have the normal
But just
physical
think
contact
about
stuff.
it. 13 years of having to hide their relationship, and now she's like,
Yeah.
give me a hug in front of TV crew and the country. Like, come on.
All right. X date's over. We done? Right into secret dates. Here we go. This is crazy.
Secret dates. It's dates on dates on dates.
Yeah. I think this is where I was just like, we're not gonna learn anything new. I think some interesting stuff happens after the secret dates, but a lot of these secret dates I don't think we're really
I don't know. This Quante Sokyun secret date seemed good.
I know it seems
I mean,
good,
it did
right?
not start.
But it
It
doesn't.
didn't start off strong. It does kind of almost make me think she might pick him. Because I think before this secret date, I was less sure I was pretty sure she was just going to go back to Juwon.
You're talking about picking Quante. Okay. I feel
Yeah.
like I feel like Sokyun has been on the fence the whole time, and I can't decide either way. And these dates, however I felt about where people were at, these dates didn't like change anything for me.
I think this date for Sokyun made me think that Quante was actually a viable option.
Oh, you didn't think Quante was a viable option prior to this? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think like she was on the fence in terms of Juwon or just anybody the fuck, I guess.
Okay.
And now like I feel like if she picks Quante, like maybe it's because Quante, you know?
Okay.
She feeds him, they hold hands, they fucking hold hands.
Yeah.
Like,
Now
you
the
don't get
hand
love that.
holding, you skipped over some stuff, but the hand holding was like Quante
Yeah.
kind of just like grabbed her hand and then she stayed with it. So like
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a I don't know how hand holding is supposed to go, but it was very much a Quante initiation of hand holding.
Okay.
So I wasn't totally convinced by it.
They lay on the beach and look at the stars together.
Yeah.
So cute.
All right.
Okay.
Quante gets her a book.
This is the bummer part though.
How does this happen? How?
Yeah, I don't know. He bought a book that she once bought Juwon, and then she's just thinking about Juwon for a while, and that sucks.
Not just she once brought Juwon. It was like the first book she gave to Juwon as a gift. But production like, hey Quante, here's like a book that I think like Sokyun might like. Don't you think? I think maybe you could find something about meaningful in it, and then you could show it to her.
Or Quante just knows her so well now that he like got a vibe of like this is in her lane, you know? Like he knows her enough to pick a gift that is something she would have picked herself.
Yeah, we've had a few weird book moments on these shows. Like
yeah.
I don't know which one it was, but there was one where like they went to a bookstore and they each like got each other a book, and then they ended up choosing the same book.
Oh, what was
I forget
that?
what show
that
was.
That must have been Heart Signal, I think.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah. Weird book things happen sometimes.
Book dates are great.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
Quante basically says he's picking her. But she says she's still undecided, even to Quante. So
yeah.
She feeds him though.
Yeah, she does.
She stares at him while he eats.
Mm-hmm. She says he looks cute when he eats.
Yeah.
You know, it's good.
They lay together on the beach, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If Juwon could see this,
date.
Juwon could see this, come on.
Mm-hmm.
What if they had not so secret dates where like where the ex got to like live watch like a live feed of the date?
I mean, that just happens when the show airs later, you know? Like,
I guess so.
Imagine Sokyun and Juwon get back together and then like watch this episode together. What kind of dumb fight are they gonna have? It's gonna be kind of big.
Yeah, I think there's like room there to be like, yeah, I grabbed my hand and I was like, whatever, or something. But
he's gonna be like, you fed him.
They were on the beach.
You put food in his mouth.
They were on the beach and they were tired. They lied down. It's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be a big deal. It could be.
Yeah, but Juwon's gonna make it a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Dahe and Changjin. All these dates are just like, we're getting food. We're getting second dinner.
Yeah. And this is basically a wrap on this not relationship where he's just like, yeah, you were really helpful to me while I was having a hard time, and I will always appreciate you for that. We had fun, but not happening.
Yeah. She calls her out on not picking her last time on the matching date, and he just like
Oh
plays.
yeah,
He just
yeah.
like plays dumb.
Oh yeah, he's like, how am I supposed to know that you even picked me? Like maybe you ruined it.
Yeah. At least he picked her this time.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
again, like because it's a secret. I don't know. I don't know why he picked her this time. I don't know what really is that different about it, but
It's probably like he knew that Yu Jung would be going on a secret date around the same time, so it's not like him throwing away would mean he'd get to spend time with her.
it was the same situation as before. Like he should have thought she was
That's
picking
true.
Ju-on. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah,
No chance. They're Chongjin's picking Dahe, right? No chance.
yeah.
Okay.
Not happening. Not at
Okay.
all.
Dongjin and Haewon date. Dongjin seems very happy to be with Haewon at the start of this date. At the start of this date, I'll be honest. He looks very
Yeah.
excited. But then it's awkward somehow.
Yeah. Because she went on a date with her ex today and is
Yeah.
very much back in on her ex, I think is exactly what's happening.
At the beginning of this date, Haewon is not her usual smiley self.
Yeah.
And she's like not making eye contact with him.
Yeah, it's very clear that things are different.
Dongjin can tell she's having mixed feelings. So then Dongjin tells us that I saw that she was having mixed feelings, so he decides to not express his feelings for her. Is that what happened?
Yes, this is dumb. Again, he's like,
To
I
make
didn't
her
want to make it
decision
harder
easier.
for her. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, no, give her all the information so she can make the decision herself.
But it makes sense if he's not going to pick her in the end anyway, right?
Well, okay. But I think right now he's still telling himself he's not going to pick Dahe, right? Like he's still pretending. He's
Okay.
holding to that promise he gave himself for dear life.
Okay. Now Haewon is saying though that she has gotten to the point in the show where she's not thinking about like who made my heart flutter today, and now she's considering the future in terms of what her final decision on the show is going to be. It's about who she thinks is better for her future, is better long-term relationship.
Yeah, she wants to come out of this dating somebody. Like
Yeah.
she is the most authentic, I guess, type of contestant on a dating show you could get, where she's actually like, yes, picking someone means dating them afterwards.
So, but she's saying this to Dongjin, okay? Is she?
Yes.
If that's her criteria, are we picking Huihyun or Dongjin? Who's better future?
Well, I think given it is all about his response here. Whereas, because in Confessional, she says he never talks about the future. And so I think that's why she's bringing it up, and she wants to see how he responds. And how he responds is that he's scared of relationships, and he's not sure how he's going to be at it.
Okay.
And so I think at this moment, he loses her, right? Like, this is the thing that cements her decision. Whether or not she's going to say that, I think this is the deciding factor.
Oh, that's good. I didn't even interpret it as as a test, but you're right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I don't know that it was a test so much as she wanted to see if they were on the same page. I mean, potato, but if it's a test, yeah, he failed. They're not looking for the same thing necessarily.
My analysis was just, I think Huihyun's better for her future than Dongjin. That's what I wrote. My personal opinion is just that
based on there's so many criteria.
Based on their ability, like they're clearly attracted to each other, right? And then on top of that, they have shown the ability to communicate well with each other.
Yeah.
So that seems like a far more promising relationship than this man who you have no idea what he's thinking.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dongjin is too much of a mystery to be a solid future prospect. Yeah. And maybe if you want to have fun with Dongjin for a little bit, go ahead. Have your fun. But to seriously be like, yeah, I'm confident this is going to work out. I don't know about that.
And I that's what she wants, right? She wants to date someone seriously after this.
Can we lock her in? Are we locking her in for Huihyun?
I mean, that's who she picks in my predictions.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's what I want, so that's what I predicted. But I didn't.
Okay.
I like your argument. Your argument's very convincing.
That's why I picked it.
Let's go. All right. Ju-on and Yu-jung date. This is the last secret date. We only got 4. Okay.
Yes.
I wrote whatever.
She asked him if he cried, and he's just like,
just
yeah.
A little bit.
She's like, I didn't have. She's like, I didn't have a reason to cry on my date. Like, she's just basically, she's like saying she's out on Chongjin and like there's no
That's
there's no
what
hope for
that was
Chungjin,
my
right? Like
interpretation.
that is basically what she is saying to him now.
At first I wrote whatever, and then I wrote she's picking him, right? Like she's picking Ju-on,
At
right?
least that's what she's telling him. Yeah.
And then I also thought like Ju-on seemed like a little standoffish in this conversation. Like he's still saying all the nice things, but I don't know. I thought Ju-on had a
He
weird
does
vibe.
say one thing that's like a little sus. He says like it'll be sad to say goodbye, and she's just like, wait, what the fuck? And he's like, no, I'll miss everybody. And I'm like, I don't know. That feels like you slipped up in what you were saying. Like that boy's picking.
His
So
weirdness
cute.
could just be like a side effect of the earlier X date, though.
That's
It
true.
doesn't have to be that like he's not picking Yu Jung.
I just feel like it is a moment of like a less calculated thing he said, you know, like it maybe some real emotions slipped through, whether it was like it's sad to say goodbye to her or it'll be sad to say goodbye to Sokyun. I don't know. It's just a moment where his mask slipped a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. And then there's so many flashbacks to their past dates and interactions with this TV show. I just wrote puke in my notes. Come on. Ugh. And then the older guy host comes in. He's like, "Yeah, I hope she picks Challenge." And I was like, "Let's go." That's what I'm talking about. Like, we can't root for this. All the other hosts are like, "No, they're so great together." And the other's like, "Nah, Chongjin's the one that like actually likes her." Like,
yeah, but he's
wholeheartedly.
only rooting for him because he identifies with Chongjin.
Yeah, maybe I do too. I don't know.
Okay.
Let's go, Chongjin.
But in the car on the way home, she's fallen asleep, and he moves over so she can lay her head on his shoulder,
Yeah.
and that would be cute if it were people I wanted to see together.
Yeah, they sleep together, if you know what I'm saying.
Yes, in the back of the taxi home.
Okay, secret date's over. Let's go back to the house.
All
We're almost
right.
there. We're almost there.
We're almost there. Chungjin goes to Yu Jung's house.
Yeah, Chongjin comes to talk to Yu Jung. That's nice. That's a sweet thing to do. Yu Jung theoretically likes that.
Well, he said he was going to come, so it would be weird if he didn't.
He does have to reference notes on his phone because he has things he wants to say, but he always forgets what to say.
But that was kind of cute. Like, to me, that's like, oh, he's given it thought. He, like, really doesn't want to fuck this up.
Okay.
You know, like, that I think is not a ridiculous move.
Okay. Unless he's not pulling up, like, some websites of, like, things to say to a girl if you want to win them over.
I think he says things that are specific enough that
like he wrote his own notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He like takes accountability for being shitty in the relationship, which is also great and probably something she wanted to hear.
Yeah. I think he's like finally saying what she wants to hear, but maybe it's too late is what I wrote, but then it doesn't seem like it's too late later.
Yeah.
But what did Chongjin do? I'm so curious. Okay. And then somehow this conversation ends though where she's angry at him again somehow, and I don't know what happens to her.
He like calls her cute a few times and she's like trying to be serious, and so she's just mad because she's like, oh, you always do this, like call me cute when I'm being serious or whatever. So I think she doesn't think he's taking it as seriously at the end, I guess. I don't know. She also just wants to be mad with him, right?
Yeah. I definitely sympathize with Chongjin because it's like he finally says something right, I think. But a lot of like I think his reaction to like "you're cute" is like she's just saying like the same thing she's already said before, right? I don't know. Was like Yu Jung saying anything new, or is it just more being critical of him? It's like, but have you changed though? Like talking about him changing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know why Chongjin wants to get back with Yu Jung. This seems very yeah, I don't really get it.
Yeah.
But I can get that if he wants to get back with her and she's kind of just saying the same things and saying things that can't feel good to hear. He's trying to just be like, "Oh, you're so cute," or like he's trying not to like break down into an argument. Is kind of the way I see it. And then like she's annoyed that he's not. I don't know. I don't really know what she wants him to say. I think he's getting there, but this wasn't perfect yet, I guess, is what it was. So she's still angry?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Or maybe it was a little too good and she's like, damn it, I don't want this to work out. You know,
maybe,
like anything could make her annoyed at him.
Yeah. All right, then. And then here's the sequence of events. Ju-on visits Seok-yoon.
Yes.
Okay. Ju-on wants to know if he's someone she can let go of. This is the important question that he needs to ask.
Is he never let go of her? And he feels like she has not put that kind of effort in for him. And she doesn't give him an answer ever, really, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I was kind of confused by what Ju-won was trying to get out here because he's tearing up, and at first I was like, okay, is he almost like trying to get her to decide for him? Was like, is
Yes.
that the angle here? But then we had a weird confessional where he says something, and again, maybe I interpreted this wrong, but he says something like he wonders when he hurts her or is mean to her, will she just like turn his back on him?
Mm.
And I'm just like, she should, right? Like, why? Like, what are we talking about? Like, you're planning on, like, you're going to be mean to her in the future, and you need to know if she's gonna break up with you if you're mean to her. Is that what we're like? What is he
Maybe
trying to
he
get
means
at?
like, if when things get hard, is she gonna just abandon ship?
But why would you
Maybe.
phrase it this way?
I
When I hurt
know.
her or I'm mean to her, is she going to turn
Yeah.
her back on me?
Well, you never need to find out if you don't hurt her and are not mean to her. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I wrote, good luck with this man, you John. All right. Yeah, yeah, I'm not really sure exactly what he was trying to get out of this.
I think he's trying to figure out if she will like ever actually come back to him, you know?
Okay, so like she wants to know if he's someone she can let go. If she says no, I can't let you go. What is his action after finding out?
Then he picks her tomorrow.
Then he picks her tomorrow. Okay, if she says yes, I can let you go.
Then he picks Yoo-jung tomorrow.
It's that simple? I don't really know.
Yes.
Yeah. But I mean, literally every relationship should have a situation in which you would let the other person go. Like if they are terrible, then the relationship's over, right? So
yes.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Then like what's the situation? Like Yoo-jung basically comes in on them talking, right?
Yeah.
And then I think she's actually funny. She's like, "Oh, sorry." Like I think
she turns around to leave.
And then she's like, "Oh, I just wanted to come to talk to Dahye," which was the truth, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
So then she leaves, and then Ju-won comes and talks to her. So she saw that Ju-won went to talk to Seokyu, right? This is the thing that happened.
Yes.
So now Yoo-jung and Ju-won are talking again. Whatever, puke.
But she does say she's just gonna pick whoever comes to mind when she wakes up in the morning.
Is that what she says?
Yes. So she is not telling Ju-won that she's gonna pick him 100%, right? Like
because she's probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where I wrote, is Yoo-jung actually struggling to decide, or is she just like want Ju-won to think she's struggling to decide? Like,
no, I think
what's
she's
happening right now?
Actually having a rough time now. Yeah. She's actually not sure.
You just shit on that other guy all day long. What do you mean you're struggling to decide?
It's so confusing. Yeah.
Okay. Then Dahye and Yoo-jung are going to talk. And I was like, oh, this could be spicy if Dahye just like explains how Chongjin has been behaving the whole TV show. And she like kind of does say like, oh, Chongjin's feelings for you, Yoo-jung, have always been certain. Like, I'm not sure how he feels about me, but it's clear, it's obvious that he has feelings for you, the entire show, basically.
Oh yeah, she does actually acknowledge then Yoo-jung that she is uncertain of what Ju-won's choice is going to be. So she does actually speak about it here.
Okay, and then Yoo-jung starts to cry.
It's not the like, yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, this is real. She's actually struggling right now. What? And wasn't this the whole thing? Like, Yoo-jung really has not cried on this show, right? But this might be the first time.
Yeah.
Other than I think she like cried when like people like read their ex letters and stuff. Kind of crying for other people.
Human emotions.
But in terms of her own relationship with her ex, I don't think she has ever cried until right now.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Yeah. And then Yoo-jung is just like, somehow Yoo-jung is like, you know what? I need to talk to Chongjin right now. And it's like everybody's asleep. And yeah, Dahye goes to wake up Chongjin for her.
Which is great because like Chongjin is sleeping in a room in a bed next to Ju-won. So it needs to be this like covert operation to just wake up the one of them.
Yeah. Or if they wake up both, they just make it seem like Dahye was waking up Chongjin for Dahye.
Yeah, that's true. Sense, that's probably why.
Chongjin is hella confused. He's like barely awake.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, what's happening?
Yeah, Yoo-jung seems like she really wants to make her decision before she goes to bed, and somehow talking to Chungjin is gonna
Yeah.
do it.
Like, at this point, she has to be picking Chungjin, right? Like, no? Like, he just woke this man up. I
Yeah,
don't
and then
know.
she wakes this man up, tells him she doesn't think he's gonna change, tells him that Juwon means a lot to her, tells him that she thinks she'll be happier with Juwon.
She literally says
And
no new information. And it's just
yeah,
like,
but like
I don't know.
a lot of it is just like, let me tell you all the reasons I'm not picking you. And yet, but yeah, I think she tells him she just wanted to talk to him one last time, and then she's crying, and then he actually expresses a lot of feelings about like what was happening when they broke up and how, he didn't think it could make her happy or whatever bullshit. And he's like, I really did change while being here. It's happened, I swear.
If she just needed Chongjin to say some more things that she's looking for one more time, I think he passed the test. If that's what this was,
Yeah, I think so too.
I think he passed the test. I'm not sure what she wants him to say. It's not like she came and asked him new questions or
Right.
revealed her own like feelings that she hadn't expressed yet. It was like she didn't do anything new. It was just like, let's just do this conversation we've already done, but let's do it again.
Well, so much of what she wants is him to take the initiative to express himself to her.
Which he did earlier, right?
Yeah, but she wants more of it to feel
I
like
guess.
this is actually a change that's happening and is real. And so by like asking him specific things, it wouldn't be what she needs. She needs him to offer it up himself.
My only way of understanding Yu Jung at all throughout these whole 2 episodes is that she must feel like neither guy is like clearly and obviously a good choice. And that makes sense to me because I don't think either of them are.
I think,
and that's why she's struggling. Like, if it was clear,
Yeah.
if one of them was clear, I don't think it would be a choice at all. Like, it's not they're both so great and it's hard to choose. It's like they're both okay and it's hard to choose.
No, I think she's really in on Juwon, but she's not sure of his choice. If it wasn't for he might get back with his ex, I think she'd be all in on Juwon.
Yeah, but it's like a huge, massive factor.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if she was
makes
more
him not
sure
a good
of that,
choice. It makes him not a good choice though, because of that.
not just in that he wouldn't pick her, not because there's some like flaw in his personality she doesn't like. As far as she knows,
She doesn't know about it.
She loves who this guy is. Like, she's all in on all the shit he says and how he acts and everything. It's just, oh, he might be into somebody else.
That is part of him though, and she knows about it, and she's not about it. So yeah,
Well, yeah, and I think that's the only reason this is a choice that's happening. If she felt more secure in Juwon picking her, it wouldn't be at this level.
She has to be thinking about Seokhyun's impact on Juwon. It's the only reason, and it makes both choices basically not great, and that's why it's a hard choice. Otherwise, it wouldn't be hard. Yeah, I agree. All right, and then Dongjun can't sleep, and he opens his goddamn breakup package. All of a sudden,
yep,
feels so scripted. I'm not gonna lie. Feels so scripted.
Okay.
And it's sneakers he gave her after he was discharged from the military.
Oh my god, I had to look this whole thing up. I was so confused.
They were his way of
but
saying, thank you for waiting for me.
Well, it's not just his way. It's like a thing.
Okay.
It's like, there is some like Korean proverb that I read about that like something about wearing rubber shoes backwards is like a euphemism for like your girlfriend cheating on you and or dumping you while you're in the military. But then like if you have a girlfriend that sticks with you all the way through, then you get her flower shoes, because I don't quite understand the whole thing, but it's a thing that happens. So it's
shoes in a box with flowers. That's true.
Yeah. So it's like it's a big symbolic thing of like, oh, you waited for me. This means so much to me. Huzzah. So it was a very meaning. It wasn't just like, oh, some shoes I got her once. It was like important shoes he got her once.
Okay. So they were a way of him saying thank you for waiting for me, and he also told her I will make you happy. I think subtext of that was like maybe forever.
Yeah.
I said like, okay, so this is how they pick each other. We made it. We're here.
He says, what's the shit? He says if he had opened the box on the first day, the next 3 weeks would have been an opportunity. I'm like, an opportunity to what? Get back together, make her happy, just not be shitty to her. What? Like, finish the
be
thought.
Happy for 3 weeks with each other.
Yeah.
Like a paid vacation. Basically.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And that's it.
We're here. All right. I think we are all on the same page with this. Actually, wait, is there anybody we're not on the same page with? Oh, who are the ones that are actually up for question? It's Seokhyun, Hye-won. Dahye's definitely picking Dongjin, right? She's not going to throw away.
Is she, or is she gonna be like, I don't like? That's what I don't know.
Maybe she could throw away.
Like I almost feel like she'd be like, I don't want to burden her. But yeah, I think at the end she'll probably, like, I did put that she'll pick Dongjin just because she'll feel like she has to be true to herself or whatever.
Yeah. Just from an edit perspective, it seems kind of nuts to me how much they would spend time on them and them not pick each other. You could kind of see the same thing though for Yu Jung and Juwon. They have spent a lot of time, but also it's kind of like it's also just kind of like the spiciest story too, though. So I can't really like their whole thing on the TV show is like actually interesting because like he's got this whole side thing and she hates people that have side things. And it's like But I do also feel like the show spent a lot of time hyping up their thing, although the host said for sure she's picking him. So I don't know. It's hard to actually say. But yeah, I'm gonna say that Chongjin and Yujung will pick each other. It just feels right. But
yeah, I think Yujung's gonna pick Chongjin. I mean, absolutely, he's gonna pick her. Okay, that's without a doubt.
So the big mystery is Seokhyun. What's Seokhyun doing?
I think she's picking Kwante.
You think she's picking Kwante? Let's go. I'm here for it. I think we're on the same page.
Now, I don't know. Like, I feel like so much of this predicting is hard because we're not going to get clear answers because I feel like they can smush it depending on like they have a little bit of flexibility. You know what I mean?
I'm just worried about what the edit's going to say. That's all I care
about. Okay. Well, then, like,
what's the edit?
Because so the way it worked before was like exes drove, like the men drove. Or I guess it wasn't just the men. Like people had to drive their exes to somewhere, usually to have someone else express interest in them, right?
If they have,
and then they had to like,
I think they showed
get out of the car or not, right?
So like Min Hyung and Songjong, like they only have each other. So I think that like in the trailer they showed like she's gonna drive the car to him, and then they're gonna like talk on the phone in the car, and then she'll have to like decide to get out of the car, but there's like nobody with her.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't even know if we had that situation last time.
Yeah, we didn't. Last time was just like everybody, like no.
Everybody had like somebody that chose them if they were in a
or they chose someone else, you know, like.
Oh yeah.
I think we got like Wonbin who just drove, like he drove Jisoo to where she was going to confess to somebody else, and then he just drove off into the sunset because there was no one else. Like,
well, because he picked Jisoo, yeah. So her getting out of the car was the end of its story, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So like the question is, who is the last couple on the trip of like I think it's Yujung, right?
No, it's Dongjin.
No,
Dongjin and Dahye should be the final story of the show.
Oh, okay. Okay, but they're not. Okay, wait. I don't think they're the end of the show though, because I don't think like if they're picking each other, and I think Haewon's picking Huihyun, there's no dramatic moment of like somebody picking between two, right?
You're saying like they can't be last because
it's not that big. Like, are you gonna pick your ex? Or are you gonna pick somebody new? Moment, you know?
Yeah, I guess they can't.
So while it will be a big moment, I don't think they're gonna be last. What I think is we'll get Songjun Minyoung out of the way. Then we're gonna do this Haewon Huihyun situation, and then Dahye Dongjin, right? Maybe kind of like simultaneously cutting back and forth or something, you know, because we need to know that Dongjin's not waiting outside of a car for Haewon or whatever.
Yeah, last season I felt like Haeun and Gyumin were like the big story, but Gyumin picked Nayeon, so that tied into Nayeon and Heedu, and then Heedu and Nayeon were like the end of the show because of that.
So then I think what's gonna happen is we're gonna have Juwon and Seokhyun in a car, and Juwon's gonna have to drive Seokhyun to Kwante. She's gonna pick Kwante, and then he's gonna go be outside of Yujung and Chongjin's car. Just because regardless of who he picks, it's better if they let him like fall back on his secondary pick, you know what I mean? Just from a TV perspective.
If they do it like that, yeah. They could. I don't know. Like whose choice is the big decision? Well, though, probably.
I think it's Yujung at this point, Dongjin, given how much time we've spent at the end of.
That's true. Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, maybe they don't want to. I don't know. I guess last season didn't end the way I thought it would either. So yeah, it could be. It could be based on the logistics of it more than the like, oh wait, this is the main story. Yeah.
But yeah, that is my prediction. So I don't know if like I think Juwon will look as though he picked Ju-young, but I don't know that it's his authentic pick. It'll be a result of Sokyun picking Kwante.
Okay. All right. We'll see.
And yeah, I think Yoo-jung's gonna pick Jungjin, and yeah, it's gonna be a lot of exes getting back together.
That's what I'm saying. Wait, which one of these is gonna fall through? Is it all the X's? Oh no, Sokyun's gonna pick one.
No, because Sokyun.
That's the only non-X that we're losing, that we're going back on from my all X's prediction.
Well, also Kwante and Jongin, because they're not even close to a thing.
Yeah. So who's not gonna be in? So it's only Jongin and.
So it's Jongin and Juwon at the end. Jongin
and Juwon don't get matched. That's what we're thinking. Okay, I'm fine. I'm happy with that. So. I'm happy with that. All right.
How different is that from your actual what you thought was going to happen?
That's exactly what I want to happen, I think.
That's what you want to happen. Okay, but your predictions are also what you want to happen. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Pretty much. Yeah, what I actually want to happen is like somehow Chongjin. I want Chongjin and Dahe to pick each other, but I don't think that's even on the table.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly what I think's gonna happen, but it's like what I think. It's what I want to happen within reasonability. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if Yoo-jung and Juwon could walk away with nobody on the show, that'd be amazing. That'd be so good. It'd be so good. Yeah. Okay. All right. We're getting there. Next episode should be interesting.
Yeah.
We can probably just be more loose on the next episode. Don't have to go moment by moment.
Yeah.
Last season, I don't remember there being much in the episode besides because it just takes all day to do these final decisions.
Oh yeah. I mean, there was some dumb fighting between Nayeon and Idu, but we don't have any that dynamic
on the final day of the decision.
Yeah, the final fucking morning they were still being ridiculous.
Okay, so maybe we'll get some early morning before they have to like do whatever to production.
Maybe.
Okay, we'll see.
Hopefully not too much, but
yeah. All right. Let's go. Next time we'll be talking about Transit Love 3, episode 20, which is the finale of Transit Love 3.
We made it. Almost.
Let's go. All right. Where can people contact us, Sarah?
People can email us at keepwatchingpod@gmail.com, and they can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok now, also Threads. I don't know if anybody uses Threads, but we got one. And YouTube, all at Keep Watching Pod. And you can leave us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And on no matter what platform, tell us who's worthy of Dahe from previous seasons of dating shows. Or what would your power couple be across seasons of things? Yeah.
Yeah. I was literally thinking about this today on The Amazing Race too. Because there's like there's one guy that's like really good at like navigating and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like a super fan of The Amazing Race, but for whatever reason, he was casted with his like mom, who is very old, very elderly.
I mean, in theory, he went, "Hello, show. This is my mom. This is who I'd like to be
he could have chosen.
Is that not how it works?
I mean, he's such a super fan of the show. I'm sure he's been trying to get on the show for years, and there might have been some iterations of partners
applied with somebody else, and it didn't work. Okay.
Yeah. But the show casted him with his mom. But like, if he was with some other person who was like really good at all the challenges and stuff, like they would just be insane. Like,
yeah.
So, yeah, who's like the superpower couple?
Yeah. So do that, but like for love or whatever.
Sure. It's Dache for sure. I'm trying to think of like Hushin. That's who we threw out.
Yeah. Oh, also Singles Inferno Mingyu, the like guy that saves people from the sea.
I thought about him. Like I didn't get why he was such
we didn't get a lot from him.
Yeah, but we didn't really get to know his personality that much for me to be like, oh yeah, that's my guy.
That's true.
But yeah, it's a little fun game. I don't know if people get into it. We could probably do a whole podcast of theoretical couples. Okay.
Yeah, go find us on TikTok now. I put the effort in. It was hard because I'm an old person, but we have TikTok.
Yeah, I mean, I don't use TikTok.
Neither do I. I consume TikTok via Reels on Instagram like a respectable old person, but now we get a TikTok account. So there you go.
The people that listen to this are
I don't know.
We do get like
all over the place.
Get like a demographic on stats on some of the
on YouTube.
They tend to be like around that age, right? Maybe a bit younger actually.
It's a little. I think it is a little younger. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Tell us where the cool kids are at, and I'll make an account on whatever. I guess probably. I don't know. It's not too much extra effort to post the preview in a different location.
Okay. Nice. All right. Um, anything else?
That's all I got.
That's all we got. Awesome. Good work. We're gonna get there.
Yep.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.
Bye.